Hello and welcome to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com. It's the PlayOnSports.com pregame show live from Pop Keeney Stadium in Bothell, Washington. I'm Alex Webster with former University of Washington linebacker Taj Bomar on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Tonight's matchup features the visiting Woodinville Falcons against the host Inglemoor Vikings. Woodinville comes into tonight's game with an overall record of 2-1, while the home team Ingelmoor is 0-3. And Taj, it should be a great matchup. This is the opening game in conference play for both these teams. Woodinville coming off of a state semifinal appearance last year. Ingelmoor with high expectations coming in. They've struggled at the beginning and looking to rebound. A clean slate as you get into conference play.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, Inglemoor's been struggling. They've been out with some key guys, Mike Tupou, middle linebacker. So they've been having a problem stopping teams defensively. But like you said, fresh, clean slate. You get a chance to come out at the tone here in the KingCo division. Even though they're in the hole, they can dig themselves out, still make a late run and salvage this season.
Falcons with a great start to the season, a win over Lakes in overtime, followed by a crushing of Mariner, but they ran into a buzzsaw by the name of Isaac Dotson last week at Newport, suffered their first loss. Dotson with 6 touchdowns in that game, 3 passing, 3 rushing. They were ranked 8th in the state, were the Falcons at that point in time by the Seattle Times. They've fallen out of the poll, and they've got to be wondering, how do they rebound?
But you know what I like about this Woodinville team, though, Alex, is that the first game of the season, not a lot of experience. Lost a lot of guys from last year's team. But they were able to bounce back through some tough adversity and get a tough win in overtime and beat Lakes. But, like I said, the players have matured really fast this year. I think Coach Maxwell of Woodinville was really excited about what his team holds in the future here.
For Ingelmoor, a tough showing so far with losses to Juanita and Meadowdale, and last week a heartbreaker at the hands of Tumwater. More on that when we come back. That's going to do it for tonight's PlayOnSports.com pregame show. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a few minutes. Friday Night Football begins next on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com. Coming to you live from Bothell, Washington. Alex Webster along with my broadcast partner Taj Bomar on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Inglemoor High School Band presenting the national anthem just a few moments ago. Inglemoor winning the coin toss, electing to defer, so Woodenville will receive when we get things going here in just a moment. We talked a little bit about, in our pregame set, about the tough road for both these teams last week. Last week, Inglemoor had their best shot at a win. They had a 31-28 road loss to Tumwater. That's the first meeting since 1993 between those two teams. Back in 93, it was Tumwater defeating Inglemoor in the King Bowl in the state finals. Inglemoor hasn't been 0-3 since 1994. That season is when they lost all those starters and those seniors from that 93 team. Vikings have never started a season 0-4 under Frank Nash and haven't been 0-4 since 1969. So a lot of history on the line. Not positive history, but a great opportunity to turn it around, Todd.
Yeah, you're right. And this is a rivalry game between Woodinville and Inglemoor. I think Woodinville leads the series 17 wins to 11 losses. So it's going to be an intense game. It has to be an intense game. And I think that's what Inglemoor needs to turn this season around here, Alex. So, but one quick thing, though, I looked at their schedule for Inglemoor. Their opponents' combined record 6-3 compared to Woodinville's 4-5. So Inglemoor has had a tough road. They've played against some 3A and 2A teams. The 2A team being Tumwater, and they're actually ranked number 10 in the state for the 2A level.
It should be an interesting affair, as this is a packed house in this rivalry game in the North Shore School District and the KingCo 4A Crest Division. The conference opener, if you will. These are the ones that count. 12-minute quarters here in high school football as the Inglemoor Vikings in their black and gold, the home teams in this one. The Woodinville Falcons from just over the hill, over yonder, the road team in this one, in a stadium that hosts also Bothell, Woodinville, and Inglemoor as the host facility for these two teams. Here is Willie Gustavo with the kickoff, and it's a bouncer up the middle handled by one of the up men for the Falcons. Good return as he busts the seam out towards the 45-yard line, and that's where the Falcons will set up shop.
That's always an interesting situation there where teams start off the game with the squib. You give your opponent good field position just about at the 50-yard line. So we'll see what Woodinville can do with this opening possession here once they come out in their spread offense here, Alex.
So as you mentioned, that spread offense for the Woodinville Falcons, and it will be senior Caleb Hamilton, a 5'10", 195-pound senior that will get his first shots this year. And he's got a good arsenal of receivers. There's one of them, and it's right in the breadbasket. He could go all the way. Touchdown, Woodinville on one play. Hamilton finding Alex Kudmarczyk, a 195-pound running back, for the score.
Yeah, that was simple. Man coverage. I think they caught Ingelmoor off guard there with a quick snap count, and he just beats the defender right there down the left sideline.
Just like that, Woodinville making amends for the loss at the hands of Newport last week. They want a quick strike, and they get it. Here's their kicker on for the try. Connor Zabak, he's got a good leg. A couple of good kickers in this one. The holder is Grayson Burris. The snap to kick, it's up, and it is good. And with 11:47 left to go in the opening quarter, Woodinville draws first blood in this rivalry on a 55-yard pass play from Caleb Hamilton to Alex Kudmarczyk.
I think that was a great strategy there. You got a rivalry game. Both teams are going to be fired up here in first play, quick count. You totally get Inglemoor's secondary off guard, and you throw a bomb on the first play there. A nice catch by Kudmarczyk there.
That one was right on the money. He did not even have to break stride catching that one. It had some air under it, but it was an awesome throw.
Yeah, and that was a good job of the receiver not slowing down on his route, running through the route, and actually using his hands to catch the ball. So many times you see the receivers use their body and drop an easy play like that.
So you're Inglemoor, and you've struggled to find a victory this year, and here against one of your rivals, a team that you feel like you've got a good shot at, and they come out with a first strike. You've got to find a way to dig deep and recover. Obviously, the whole game is in front of you, but you're in a hole to start.
Yeah, well, in football, just like sports in general, you have to be able to respond to adversity. And so they have a great chance here to come out and get the ball, get something going. I don't know if they're going to want to come out and go, fire for fire here, but you want to come out and set the tone and get a nice opening drive here.
Well, we've already seen the leg of Willie Augustavo, who had the kickoff for Inglemoor. It was a squib, and that was just a few moments ago. So here are the Falcons, and their kicker, again, Connor Zabak, a moment ago. We mentioned him on the PAT try. He's going to put a leg into this one. And back deep, two return men for the Inglemoor Vikings. This one a deep kick, and it's fielded near the goal line and right up the middle, finding a seam and still on his feet. Gunnar Allmeyer with the return.
And I tell you what, Alex, that was a great tackle by Cole Stennerman there, getting a nice ankle tackle there.
So a quick return for it was actually Nick Russell. Nick Russell on the return, a late jersey switch, and the 5'9" senior getting good field position at the 32-yard line for the Inglemoor Vikings, who run with the three receivers set out of the pistol. Here's the fake on the handoff, and the quarterback, Hans Fortune, just too high for his intended receiver, Ken Holen.
Yeah, a little bit high there, Alex, but if you see there, late flag by the ref in the backfield. Looks like a personal foul late on the quarterback.
And an opportunity to relay the officiating crew to you in this one. Bill Klatt is the referee, Max Myers the umpire, Michael Bailey the linesman, the line judge is Dave Johnson, and the back judge, Tim Stern. And so, an opportunity here. Woodinville coming out with some good aggression. they've got some players that love to come out here and really knock heads. And this is a case of a little bit of too aggressive right out of the chute, but that's an aggressive foul.
Yeah, in a sense, you can say that's a wash. First play, Woodinville catches Ingelmoor off guard with the deep pass. Now you come out, Woodinville on defense. You come out and get a personal foul. So both teams got to settle down, get in their groove, and then we should see a pretty good game here.
Hans Fortune, the quarterback, is one of two quarterbacks we may see in this game for Ingelmoor. More on that in a second. Here's the handoff, and Jake Jones on the carry rumbles ahead and gets 5 before he is pulled down in Falcon territory.
Yeah, nice job there by the left side of the offensive line for Ingelmoor there. Got the big guys up front, Josh Kokel. They got Ty Utton, Cyrus Lee, a bunch of big guys up there paving the way for Jones there.
Hans Fortune, 6'6", 200-pound senior. He splits time with Brandon Edwards, or at least has so far this season, a 6'1", 170-pounder, also a senior. So we may see both of them there. 3 receivers in the set, and we've got another whistle. And we'll see what they call. This one coming from the umpire position, and it is a false start against the Vikings. So negate the 5-yard gain from Jones just a few moments ago. The running backs for Ingelmoor, they hit you with a couple of guys. Jake Jones, 5'9", 200-pounder, who had the carry a moment ago, and Nick Russell, a 5'9", 165-pounder. Jones does a lot of his running between the tackles, but is also very much an all-around back, so look for him in a variety of capacities in this one for the Vikings. So 2nd and 10 from the 47, just underway here, but an early score by Woodinville has them on top here from Pop Keeney and Bothell. Nice pass, and this one a little bit too tall for intended receiver Reese Duringer, a junior that could not reach high enough on the ladder to pull that one in.
Yeah, and that was that exact play and formation that they ran on that very first play of this drive here, but it was actually in favor of Ingelmoor. They got the penalty on the Woodinville personal foul, but just a little bit too high. Got to settle down for Fortune, and he'll get settled in. He's a big guy. Can see over the line, about 6'5", so once he settles down, they'll be good to go here.
Perhaps early game jitters on the part of the senior quarterback for the Vikings, trying to get his team their first victory of 2012, and we're going to have another piece of movement. So is this early game jitters as well, as I think coming out of his stance was Mike McCarrick out of that left tackle position a little bit early. So another penalty, and the Vikings, who look to be started off nicely, taking a good return, a penalty, a nice carry, and now a couple of penalties have them for 3rd and very long at 3rd and 15.
Yeah, those are things you got to avoid, though, these penalties. If you're struggling, facing 0-4 here, you got to not beat yourself.
Fortune going under center in this one. 4 receivers in the set, now trips to the right. Fortune will give on the draw. This is Jones on the carry. He gets a lot of it back, but not enough. He'll get into Falcon territory before he's finally pulled down.
Yeah, and good job there on the draw play. What you're trying to do there was draw those linebackers back into their zone coverage. Give it right there to the running back, Jones, and he picked up some nice yardage. Still short of a first down, though.
Willie Augustavo on for the punt. Wyatt Smith has been a good punt returner, a junior for the Falcons. He is back deep, standing about his 10-yard line. The kick is up, and this is boomed and angled towards the sideline, and it might end up being a little bit short. Still some aggressive play in the middle of the field. The officials not seeing that one after the ball had gone out of bounds. It's going to be about the 25-yard line. So that one got a lot of air underneath it. I know they were trying to keep it away from the good return man Wyatt Smith back there, but got a little bit of a shank on that one and will give up some yardage to the Falcons.
Yeah, now if you're Ingelmoor, you got to come out and get that quick 3 and out, get your offense the ball back here. You definitely don't want to have Woodinville come out here and score another touchdown.
Well, Caleb Hamilton connecting on that 55-yard touchdown pass just a little bit over a minute ago. We haven't played 2 minutes yet, and this is the Falcons' second possession. 7-0 Woodinville over their rival Inglemoor, one of their North Shore rivals, and there's a swing pass dropped. And Caleb Hamilton has to be a little bit upset that Isla Bauer did not come up with that one. Or check that, Wyatt Smith unable to get the hands on that one. Wyatt, one of a double-headed junior set of running backs for the Falcons. Smith, 5'7", 165-pounder. He's joined back there often by Nico Lera, 5'10", 175-pounder. Lera missed the game against Newport last week with flu-like symptoms, but is hopefully going to see time in this one. Hamilton looking for the screen pass underneath, and the Vikings have it sniffed out. Ball might have come out. No call down there, so it looks like they held on, but it's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, that was a good job there by the middle backer, Jason Kachus there, diagnosing the play, reading the middle screen, and getting right on top of it there.
Josh Kokel on the stop, but we have a penalty, and they're sorting it out right now. It looks like it will be against the Falcons, and Ingelmoor opting to decline the penalty after the play caught behind the line. So a loss for Woodenville will bring up 3rd and 14. So, Woodenville, you could say maybe struggling a little bit to get going after that quick first strike. They still haven't found a rhythm yet. They've had basically one big play.
Exactly. Pretty much what this boils down to, both teams have to settle down.
So the Falcons out of the shotgun, 2 receivers to either side. Out of the spread offense, they go deep again, and this time cannot connect. The intended receiver down that left sideline. Alex Komarchek, they were trying to connect up once again.
Yeah, and that was a great job by the defensive back there, Ken Holen, number 41. Great job. It's 3rd and long. Keep the receiver in front of you and don't give up the big play. He did a great job staying in position there and not giving up the first down.
Connor Zabak for the punt. Back deep for Ingelmoor is Isaiah Lewis. Lewis has a nice return just to the midfield stripe. And so that's where the Vikings will start their second possession of the ballgame. Glad you could join us here from beautiful Bothell, Washington. It is the last day of summer, but you couldn't tell by the weather today. We've had great summer weather, and now all of a sudden it just kind of turned today as if it was a prelude to autumn dawning tomorrow morning.
Yeah, no complaints here with the sunshine, because pretty soon here, Alex, the rain's going to be dumping on us soon.
Well, it was sprinkling earlier throughout the day, although that's not the situation right now, so can't blame any lost handles on the football on the weather tonight. Here's Fortune again, back in there at quarterback, and they give on the sweep a little fake. They might have had a little piece of razzle-dazzle lined up, but the Falcons defense sniffing that one out. On the carry, Ken Holen, as he was coming across, almost a handoff on the sweep. He was carrying it on his right hip as if maybe he was going to unload a pass.
Yeah, and a lot of teams, though, in these spread offenses, they like to do that little quick fly sweep, as it's called. Get the receiver running in full motion, full speed, and try to get around the corner. But right there, too much penetration by the Falcons defense.
They lose 4 on the play, so Ingelmoor going in the wrong direction. 2 receivers to either side, and out of the shotgun, Fortune will look to his left. There he finds Ken Holen for a gain. He'll get back what he lost and a couple more from the previous play. It'll be 3rd and long.
Hey, I'll tell you what, so far, that's 3 touches for Holen. If you're a fantasy football guy, you better draft this guy. You'll get some points right there.
Well, they got to make sure they keep the ball headed in the positive direction. And right now, playing in Falcon territory, they'll see if they can pick up the first down here on 3rd and 8. 8:22 left to go in the first quarter. Woodinville trying to improve to 3-1 on the year. They have the 7-0 lead, but Ingelmoor trying to scrape together the first down here. Ball is loose, and the Vikings may have recovered. Not what you wanted to see on 3rd down if you're an Inglemoor Viking fan, and there are a bundle of them here at Pop Keeney at their home field, and so that will go down as at least a recovery for the Vikings, but they will have their punter back out once again. And Augustavo with a little too much action here in the early going for the Vikings fans like.
Yeah, just kind of a high snap there. You got a big, tall quarterback. Got to get the snap right where he can catch that with his hands there, too low.
This one will take an Inglemoor bounce and is nicely angled inside the 20. It's going to approach the 10-yard line, marked at the 11. So Augustavo, who had a little less friendly of a roll the last time, gets a good one here, and we'll have the Falcons pinned back deep. But the Vikings are going to need to try and find a way to do something other than a 3-and-out on their next series.
But so far, Inglemoor, they came out, they got that 3-and-out, and actually they got better field position here. And this can actually set up for your offense very well. And
Brandon Edwards, the other quarterback that we've seen have action for the Vikings this season, is loosening up down on the sideline. But here are the Falcons, and they get a nice delay, but a great stop in the middle by the Vikings. I want to say defensive lineman Coming up on the play was Josh Kokel, 6'2", 208-pound defensive lineman, a senior here for the Vikings. And we do have an injured player on the field for the Falcons, and they will attend to him as the training staff comes on. And for the Falcons, it is Wyatt Smith, we believe, that is down on the field, one of the running backs. And hopefully they will get him tended to and that he will be okay and be able to get back into this game.
Yeah, it looks like he may have twisted his ankle somehow in the pile there, Alex. But that's definitely a guy, Wyatt Smith, that you need if you're Woodinville. This guy comes in averaging well over 100 yards a game, but roughly about 140, off to a great start this season. But you definitely want to have him back in the game, and hopefully nothing serious, and that he can return back to this ball game.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. And they are still tending to the injured Falcon player down there, and we hope that you are enjoying our coverage tonight here on Play On Sports. These Inglemoor Vikings will actually travel to the Plateau for a showdown with Eastlake next week, and we'll have that one here for you on Play On Sports. We're coming to you live today, though, from Pop Keeney Stadium. This is a stadium that's going to get a workout as Smith is heading off with some assistance off the field. Pop Keeney playing host to this contest tonight. Bothell will take on KingCo foe tomorrow here, and then actually earlier in the day, because of some of the fires in central Washington causing some unhealthy air conditions, Central Washington will take on Azusa Pacific here tomorrow afternoon. So this facility will see a lot of work this weekend. Woodenville with a snap over the head of the quarterback. He's trying to hang on to it and get out of the end zone, and I'm not sure if he will. It looks like a safety for the Vikings. No indication yet, but everyone says safety. And so the Vikings get onto the board, and we've seen some poor snapping here on both sides in this early quarter.
Yeah, and again, I hate to keep alluding to it, but it's all about you have to settle down, and both teams are getting there, but they still haven't settled down enough to where they're not beating themselves. But that's a great job there by the Vikings defense, being opportunistic and getting on top of that ball and on the ball carrier there, Hamilton, and getting that safety.
So Inglemoor onto the board. Woodinville still leading 7-2 with 7:01 left to go. And, yeah, we'll have to see if there's some early conference game jitters. This is the conference opener for both these teams. And they're trying to work out some of the kinks in the early going. Inglemoor happy to pounce on that one and gain some momentum in this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is, like I said, Inglemoor's coming to this game struggling, 0-3, but when you start conference play, it's a new slate. So you have a really good shot here to kind of salvage your season, get back in the running. You've had some injuries, some tough games, but big game here against the first-place team in your division here in the KingCo Crest division, Woodinville at 2-1. So even though you're 0-3, you got a chance to get back. It always starts with the first game here.
Yeah, and it is a clean slate. Everybody with zeros in that conference marker. Woodinville leading the way at 2-1. A couple of 1-2 teams in Redmond and Eastlake, and then Inglemoor and Bothell 0-3. But Bothell may have one of the most difficult 0-3s you've ever seen. Here is a punt on the kickoff after the safety, and it is fielded by Ingelmoor, and a decent return again for the Vikings, as Nick Russell brings that one up. And it'll be across the 40 to the 41-yard line, and that's where the Inglemoor Vikings will try to set up shop offensively and get some rhythm. We'll see if they have made a switch at quarterback. Is Hans Fortune getting the start?
Yeah, one thing you might see here is the Vikings come out and take a shot after a big momentum play like that. They might come out and try to throw the ball deeper themselves.
Fortune remains in, trips to the right, single receiver to the Inglemoor side at the bottom of your screen. Here's the snap, and Fortune looking across the middle. His receiver didn't see it, and that one was nearly picked off. It was intended for Reese Duringer, and there must have been some miscommunication between the two of them because that one hit him squarely in the back.
Yeah, it did, and the receiver, if people saw that, didn't even have his head, Duringer there, didn't have his head turned around, so ball pretty much hits him right in the back. And there could have been a turnover for the Woodinville defense, but looks like they were going for the big hit.
So the Vikings coming out here trying to see if they can capitalize. They have not given up trying to go to the air. They'll continue to work here. Again, same formation, trips to the right. Fortune, left side this time, a little too tall for the intended receiver. That was Jake Lindloff. One of the things that Ingelmoor brings to the table is that they do have some size in their receiving core. Eric Strathy is a 6'5", 185-pound senior. Mike Lewis also at 6'2". Their tight end, Jackson Gardner, at 6'5", and Jake Lindloff, probably the smaller of the bunch, at just 5'9", but an opportunity there.
Yeah, it looks like fortune for Inglemoor here. Just having a tough time. He's not really going through his mechanics. Looks like he's kind of half throwing it there. Get your full motion going.
So big 3rd and 10 here, and Fortune on the rollout. Right arm throw, gun just through the hands of a leaping Eric Strathy. We mentioned him a moment ago, 6'5" senior, couldn't come down with it. It had first down written all over it if he could have pulled it in.
Yeah, and again, another high pass. You got a big receiver out there in Strathy, but again, you got to bring it down to where they can catch. You don't want to expose your receivers out there to the defensive backs, even if they do catch it, taking a big hit and possibly having the ball jarred loose.
Woodinville Falcons defending KingCo champs and semifinalists in state at the 4A level last year. They'll get the return here as Wyatt Smith, or check that, different return man in back there, and he's got to get away from that football and avoid having that one being touched. Yeah, as that time it was Grayson Burris.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Maxwell is going to have a talk to him about that on that punt. Whenever you have a situation like that, Alex, usually the return team, in this case Woodinville, the guys will say, Peter, get away from it. You don't want anybody getting near that. It could have been a big turnover there in favor of Ingelmoor.
Well, Grayson Burris called upon as the regular punt return man. Wyatt Smith injured on the previous series for Woodinville, and so Burris, who probably hasn't seen a lot of action back there, he's also the holder on kicks, but here as the kick returner needs to get a little more experience in getting away from that ball. Woodinville will have it at their own 9-yard line, 1st and 10 with 6:32 to go in a slow-moving first quarter. And they'll get some action in the middle, and gosh, there is no love lost between some of the players on these two teams. They are hitting hard out there. A bit of a gain on the carry. It'll bring up 2nd and 4 from the 15. So a 6-yard pickup on the run for the Falcons.
And that was a nice push right up the middle there to gain 5 yards. So by getting 5 yards on first down, obviously you got to get 10 to get the first down, but that sets you up nicely for your play calling on second down, play action, or whatever you want to run here.
They've got it bunched together in this set, looking to keep the ball on the ground, and they get it past the 15-yard line or thereabouts. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Nico Lira on the carry. We mentioned Nico, 5'10", 175-pounder, missing last week's game against Newport with flu-like symptoms. And with Wyatt Smith injured on the previous series, he's going to have to carry a lot of the load. It will be 3rd and 4. Under 5.5 to play in this first quarter from Pop Keeney in beautiful Bothell, Washington. Caleb Hamilton calling the signals on the handoff. And we've got a penalty flag down as this one near the first down marker, but probably doesn't have the distance. We'll see who the foul is on. Lira again on the carry.
Yeah, it really looks like Woodinville's trying to come out and set the tone with the running game on the ground here so far. 3 running plays in a row.
And an opportunity to try and wear things down a little bit. This one will go against the Falcons as the officials talking with the captains for the Vikings to decide what they want to do. Again, I believe that the carry is going to be just short, or definitely if it's a first down, you're going to push them back. It's a hold. And they are going to go half the distance from the 15-yard line, so they will push them back. So I'm not sure if they would have had yardage for the first down, but it's immaterial at this point, as it will be 3rd down all over again for the Falcons.
And I'll tell you, as a former linebacker, there's always holding. Just a matter if you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. So refs obviously got got the Falcons there with the holding call, and now you're marched back 5 more yards in a tough third down here.
You can speak from experience from both the 4A state classification as well as the D1 collegiate level. Quarterback draw on this one, and Hamilton evading one tackler, but not the rest of the Viking defense. And it'll bring up 4th down and long for the Vikings, or rather for the Falcons.
Yeah, it looked like that was just a simple quarterback draw. You're backed up in your own territory. You don't want to turn it over. You just want to punt the ball, try to gain some field position back here, and set your defense up to be successful here, not put them in a bind.
Well, the Vikings have been doing pretty well despite being without their middle linebacker, Mikey Tupou, for most of the season. They've done a pretty decent job against a team that was ranked 8th in the state just a week ago. Fair catch called for by the Inglemoor Vikings return man, Isaiah Lewis, and they will take over in Falcon territory.
Yeah, and so far in this ball game, kind of a dead even game, but despite the score being 7-2 in favor of Woodinville, but both teams capitalizing off not penalties, but mistakes, early jitters in the game.
Fortune still in there at quarterback as they try to engineer a short drive, if you will, to try and take the lead in this one. Here's the handoff, and a good carry by the Vikings as Jake Jones pushes it ahead for about 5 or 6 on 1st down. So we might, by the looks of things, be looking at a bit of a ground war if the two teams continue the trend that they've established here the last couple of series.
Yeah, and I think Coach Maxwell of Woodinville and Coach Nash of Ingelmoor are, like I said, selling this game down. What do? You come out, you run the ball, try to get your teams in a rhythm and get going on the ground here.
Save one pass for the Falcons. The passing game hasn't really worked well for either team at this stage. But they come out into a passing formation, but Fortune with the handoff. Jones again, a nice hole in the middle, spins out of one tackle, dances along the sidelines before he's finally forced out of bounds. And another penalty flag as I think the Falcons lost track of where the sideline was and were roughing up Jones as they got him into the Inglemoor bench. So tack on a little bit more, it looks like, after a 1st down pickup run for Jake Jones.
Yeah.
Bill Klatt and his crew much more busier than they would care to be in the first quarter of this one. Yep. Too much activity after the play. And so the Vikings taking advantage of some of the mistakes here in this first quarter by the Falcons. That safety a moment ago on the high snap. And now a big penalty here will get the Vikings great territory and field position inside the 20-yard line. And they've both teams with a couple of good kickers. They may be approaching or in the range of Willie Augustavo, but of course it's 1st and 10 here from the 19. They're looking for a touchdown out of this one. There's Jones. He's got another hole, busts another tackle, and he's inside the 5.
Yeah, it looks like Inglemoor, they found something on this left side here with their offensive line. Jake Jones is getting some nice runs over there on the left side by the big hog mollies up front.
Well, they've got one of the best in the state, and Titus Macassini is 6'5", 265-pound senior. As a tradition, he leads a traditional haka dance before the start of the game for the Vikings. They're going to look to party if they can get in the end zone. Jones reverses his field right into white shirts. Minimal gain if not thrown back for a little loss. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, and that was good pursuit by the Woodinville defense there as a unit. Jones started out left, tried to cut back right, and nice job by the backers and D linemen containing and getting penetration there.
And the defensive line for Woodinville needing to stiffen here with the ball at the 5-yard line. They are fast and physical up front. Coulter Clinch, a 6'3", 230-pounder, and Lee Wunderlich, a 5'11", 200-pound anchor in that line. They've got good splits. Here's the handoff. They go to a different back. This time, near the goal line, it is Dane Hawkins, or rather, it is Nick Russell near the goal line, but not in.
Boy, that looked pretty close. I'm pretty sure if this is the college over NFL, they're going to be throwing out that red flag to challenge that. That was really close if he got in or not there.
Well, it's going to be right up against the goal line. 3rd and 1. Fortune calling the signals. He gives it off. This is Russell for the score. Touchdown, Ingelmoor.
Yeah, it really looks like Inglemoor, they found something on this ground game here, going left, going right, and right here on this goal line play, right up the middle.
So the safety giving Inglemoor some momentum. The penalty giving them even more momentum on the ground. They take advantage, now have an 8-7 lead with the extra point try coming, but a timeout taken here by Ingelmoor. I'm not sure if they got their special teams all together, or perhaps because of the safety, they're considering a 2-point play.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what Coach Nash is going over here for Inglemoor. If they're going to go for the 2 and try to extend this to a 3-point lead, or just go ahead and take the touchdown, the PAT, and be up by 2 here.
They've got a good kicker in Willie Augustavo. He was nailing some from pretty far back in pregame warmups. But you're right, head coach Frank Nash, who's been here several decades, 34 years at the helm of this program. He's the offensive coordinator and athletic director as well. His son Mickey and his daughter and son both graduating from Inglemoor High School. And Frank Nash, the head coach for the Vikings, a Blanchette grad from the late 60s, and also a Central Washington University grad, Central Washington College back then, a quarterback and a DB. And, of course, Central Washington looking for a place to play a game tomorrow because of the fires in Central Washington. They came knocking on the alumnus' door, and they'll be here tomorrow against Azusa Pacific at 12:30. So they are going for 2, the Vikings here. And the pitch to the left side. Jones looking for running room, can't find any. And the 2-point conversion try is pushed back by the Falcons. But Inglemoor leading thanks to the safety and now the touchdown by Nick Russell, 8-7 with 2:17 to go in the opening quarter here at Pop Keeney.
Hey, even though you didn't get that 2-point conversion for Inglemoor, I think you're still happy with having the lead by 1 point, considering how this game has started out for both teams. Pretty rough. Both teams trying to settle down, so having a 1-point lead could be huge in a rivalry game. Anything can happen.
It's absolutely true, and of course, everything that they're probably preaching to the Vikings after an 0-3 start is it doesn't matter. It's immaterial. Conference play starts today. You get a win in that column, you're among the leaders in your conference.
Exactly. You got to start somewhere before you can get to the top, and obviously you have to start from the bottom here, but it's definitely doable. You just got to play it one game at a time.
And for Woodenville, you have to be a little shell-shocked. You come out, you score on the first play from scrimmage, and now you've struggled a little bit, losing the safety and now giving up some yardage on some costly penalties, and now you find yourselves down to a rival. Still a long way to go, but this has been a long first quarter.
Yeah, and getting back to that 7 points that Woodinville scored, I really think they caught Inglemoor off guard with that quick count and going deep in the first play. So I think it's kind of a wash right now.
Augustavo ready to kick it away as Nico Lira back deep along with Matt Stevens. And this one is kept short as they want to keep it away from the dangerous return men, and it will be good field position for the Falcons. So they're opting to keep it away from the deep men, and they're sacrificing some field position in the process.
Yes, I mean, so far the field position hasn't really hurt either team with the penalties and whatnot, but that'll be interesting to see if that continues throughout the game here with these short kickoffs.
So the Falcons bringing the whole crew in from the sideline directly to the line of scrimmage. And Caleb Hamilton, who sat for 3 years behind starter Britt Arivi last season, did see the field a lot on the defensive side of the ball, but minimal action from that quarterback position. But he's gotten a lot of good starts here. The running game, though, is what they're trying to emphasize right now, and some good Inglemoor defense as they have tremendous pursuit to the short side of the field.
Yeah, and that was a great job by the free safety, number 5, Jake Jones. Had a lot of touches on offense, made a nice play there on defense, getting up and having a nice penetration, diagnosing the play there. Nice tackle.
So Nico Lira having a few carries on the last series with Wyatt Smith's injury. And this time they come out with 4 receivers in the set, 2 to either side. Hamilton calling for the ball, gets it. The right-handed toss to an open receiver, complete, near first down territory, and if it wasn't for the saving tackle of Isla Bauer. That one could have gone for a bunch more. Or rather, Isaiah Lewis on the stop there.
Yeah, good tackle there by Isaiah Lewis there.
But a hanky on the field. And for Woodenville, the penalties in the early going have been costly. Preliminary indication may be a hold against the Falcons. So while picking up a first down, this one may be coming back a bit. It was 2nd down and 8. And it's an illegal hit to the helmet by Ingelmoor. So the Falcons can either opt for, I believe, the play as it finished or the penalty from where the spot was. I think it's going to be close, so it may be immaterial. But the Falcons trying to get back their spirit and stride after getting the early advantage.
Yeah, a lot of penalties here early on. I've been trying to keep a little track here of the penalty, and it's roughly close to 7-8 penalties combined, and we're not even in the second quarter yet. Like you said, a long first quarter, but a lot of penalties, and that's what's kind of having this clock tick down really slow is all these penalties here, Alex.
A 15-yard penalty instead of the yardage on the play, so the result of the penalty is a first down at the 43-yard line. That's where the Falcons will have it. 1st and 10, looking to try and reclaim the lead from their rivals, the Inglemoor Vikings here. One of 2 rivals for these 2 teams in the North Shore School District. Screen pass underneath, but that is sniffed out. Big-time play by Jackson Gardner on the stop. He saw that one. No gain or minimal gain. Maybe a yard for the Falcons.
Yeah, Woodinville trying to run a nice little jailbreak slip screen, and like you said, Gardner right there made a nice play. Not going upfield. Anytime you kind of feel yourself as a D lineman or backer being scot-free, you better look out because there's some kind of screen coming right behind you, and that was a good job by Gardner there.
Gardner, one of the stars, one of the few bright spots in the loss to Meadowdale a couple of weeks ago. A little option here. The Falcons near the sideline will get a few. It'll bring up 3rd and short. The carry by Nico Lira off the pitch.
Again, Jake Jones, number 5, coming up from that free safety spot. He's putting in a heck of an effort here so far. Nice tackle there.
3 yards to go on this 3rd down play coming up. 19 seconds remaining in this quarter, so this might be the last play. We shall see. Hamilton with the give to Lira. Close to a first down. I think he may have it. Just past the sticks. It'll be a first down for the Falcons. As time taken here by the officials with 2 seconds remaining to evaluate where it is. And yes, it is a first down. And they restart the clock for 2 seconds. The clock expires as our first quarter has finally come to a close. It is the Inglemoor Vikings, the home team in this one, taking an 8-7 lead at the end of the first quarter over the Woodinville Falcons. We're back for second quarter action after this break on PlayOnSports.com.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
Back in Bothell, Washington at venerable Pop Keeney Stadium. This is a facility that holds nearly 4,500. They've crammed 8,500 in here for a playoff game in the past. This thing has been around for a long time and is a fantastic facility here in the state of Washington, and it is host to this contest tonight between Woodinville and Ingelmoor, and you can see there the Vikings with an 8-7 lead. It was the Falcons with a quick strike on the very first play of the game, a 55-yard touchdown pass, but it's been all Ingelmoor since then.
Yeah, and I think this game is setting up, obviously it's a rivalry game, could go either way, but this is really setting up in favor of Ingelmoor, I think. They don't score a lot of points per game, roughly about 14.5. Woodinville about 26.5. So if Ingelmoor can keep this pace up and control the clock, they got some things working in their favor here, Alex.
Another high snap to the quarterback, and this time Hamilton able to recover it. A great block in front of him that'll draw a penalty flag. Long pass, though, is dropped in inside the 10-yard line. Oh, my goodness. Not anything good really happening for Woodinville on that play from the snap to the drop, and it appears the penalty flag coming up as well. And this has got to have Wayne Maxwell, the head coach and defensive coordinator of the Falcons, a little befuddled the way his team is performing right now. Maxwell's been at the helm for nearly a decade at Woodinville, and he's going to see yet another penalty. And this one is going to bring it way back as it's from the spot of the foul, which was already way back deep because of the high snap.
Right, yeah, and again, that's the second muff snap there by Woodinville. Having a tough time with the exchange between number 56, Nick Schlochny there, with Hamilton. So they got to work on that and get that figured out.
Yeah, this one went from the 30 on one side of the field to the 34 on the other side. It is first down and a rare 44 yards to go. But the good news for Woodinville, it is first down. Maybe a passing down? They will run it. Hamilton, a wide open lane down the right side. He might go all the way, and he does. Touchdown, Woodinville on 1st and 44.
Can you say wow, Alex? I mean, just a total busted coverage there by Ingelmoor on the left side of the defense. Everybody got sucked in on that fly sweep that Woodinville ran earlier, and it's wide open on the right sideline there for Hamilton.
He goes 65 yards on 1st and 44 for the score and the lead with the PAT coming. Connor Zabak with the try. They're going to go for 2 on this one. The pass is incomplete in the end zone. A little bit of contact, but with the safety earlier and the miss, the PAT or 2-point conversion try by the Vikings, the Woodinville Falcons try their own trickery, and it comes up short. But Woodinville, on the long touchdown run by Caleb Hamilton, own a 13-8 advantage. What is it with Woodinville and the first minute of each quarter so far? That's when they've done their business.
Well, I tell you what, if that keeps up, we're going to be in for some nice plays here as we go on throughout this ball game. But like I said, that was just a busted coverage there. Ingelmoor not reading their keys with their eyes there, and left side just wide open. And once you get a guy like Hamilton, good athlete out there on the edge, he's gone. You're not really going to catch him. So nice play there by the Woodinville offense, and minimal mistake there by Ingelmoor.
So that try for point incomplete. And we have the rare football score of 13-8. You don't get too many of those, but that's why they play the game. And Friday night football right here in the state of Washington being brought to you in all shapes and sizes and all ways of scoring so far this evening.
Yeah, kind of speaking on Hamilton there again for Woodinville. He's the guy that was the Week 1 Seattle Times Player of the Week. Had some nice plays on defense, 3 interceptions, one for a TD, a couple pass breakups. So captain of the team, so he's making plays, being a leader for this ball club.
Well, and when they couldn't get it done through the air a little bit earlier, they've got that first touchdown pass, but then had some problems. They went to the ground a bit. They've lost one of their starting running backs to injury in this one. Hopefully he can return, Wyatt Smith. And so Hamilton puts it on his own shoulders on that play and gets the touchdown, and the Falcons the lead once again. Into the end zone, this one will go. A brilliant catch by Isla Bauer, Isaiah Lewis, the return man for the Vikings, trying to keep it out of the end zone and get a return, but to no avail as he falls into the end zone, and that will bring it out to the 20.
Boy, that was kind of scary there. He was really close to the goal line and having his knee down there. Could have really backed his ball club up there. But again, we saw those short, when the game first began, those short kickoffs. Now Woodinville changes it up on them, boots it deep, and now you got Inglemoor starting from their own 20-yard line.
And we'll see if out of the spread offense they look to keep it on the ground, which was successful on the last drive. And they do. The handoff to Jones. Finds a hole in the middle, stays on his feet, and is out past the 35 and finally pulled down by about 4 or 5 white shirts of the Falcons.
Boy, I tell you what, Jake Jones is putting a performance here. We're only in the second quarter. He really reminds me of a guy that actually played, a couple years back. he played for Issaquah. Grant Gallatley, I don't know if you guys remember him. Great running back, really kept his feet going. Not a very big back, but always was good in between the tackles and outside. He kind of reminds me of him in his running style, of how he never gives up and always runs hard.
And he's got a brother that's doing great things out at Issaquah right now, too, and has Issaquah poised for good things this season. We were out there a few weeks ago when they took on Mount Si. But Inglemoor, the focus here, they'll go to the air this time. Pass complete, and this one will pick up about 6 yards as the intended receiver finally comes away with it and falls out of bounds. Eric Strathy on the receiving end of that one, a nice 6'5", 185-pound target.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us here, that was a nice job by number 8, the quarterback, Fortune there. That's his best pass the whole game so far. Everything else has been high, too high for his receivers. Nice job of settling in, completing the pass.
And Fortune, who has split some time prior in this season, has gone the distance thus far. And this one, loose ball as a fumbled handoff, and the Vikings appear to have recovered, fortunately for them.
Yeah, I think that was a classic case there by Jake Jones trying to make his read before he had the ball and secured it. That's the first thing you got to do is secure the ball. And I think he was looking to see where he was going to make his next cut at there.
So Jones losing a little bit, but just fortunate to come away with possession of that football as the Falcons now with the lead once again, trying to be opportunistic on defense. 3rd down and 4. Fortune to the air again. Complete. The receiver evading one tackler and has the first down. Great catch and run by Jake Lindloff. And the senior receiver, just 5'9", has had a couple receptions already on that particular pattern. Doing a nice job.
And again, another solid completion. I'm pretty sure the coaching staff has talked to Fortune, settle down, complete your passes, go through your mechanics. Nice job of settling down, throwing the receivers catchable balls this time around.
He had been high on several passes in the first quarter, but doing much better now. Here's Jones on the sweep around right end, and he keeps breaking tackles. Inside the 35-yard line, he picks up a good chunk of real estate and is close to another first down. He'll be shy by about a yard.
And I'll tell you, that's what you got to love about a high school ball, too. A guy like Jake Jones, great ball player, great athlete. He never gives up. As you see as a running back, that's one of the most important things is keeping those legs moving. If you're a linebacker trying to tackle a guy like that, it always makes it that much tougher when you got running really, really fast there and really hard, trying to make something happen for his ball club.
Just keeps the legs churning and stays on the move, and good things tend to happen. 2nd and very short, just 1 yard to go. Falcons looking like they're blitzing, and they are. And Jones going to be pushed back, but going to be very close to a first down. And he just kind of ran away from where the blitzing linebacker was coming off the left side of that defense, was able to slide a little bit to the left, but was met there, and it is good enough for the first down.
Yeah, I think that was number 23 for Woodinville, Coulter Clench, at the D-line spot, making that stop there, but not a stop early enough, giving up the first down there.
You've got a couple of good guys in Clinch and Wunderlich up there among a host of other players. 4 down linemen in this set with 4 linebackers. Here's Fortune going to the air. Too tall, and it might be picked off, and it is. Coming away with it for the Falcons is Dane Hawkins on the pick, and that will turn back the Ingelmoor offensive run. They had a good thing going, but the opportunistic defense for the Falcons coming away with the pick on the high throw from Fortune.
Yeah, he was doing really well on this drive here. 2 or 3 nice completions. Then he, what they had there, they had a crossing route and they had a post route on the backside. It looked like he just kind of overthrew the crossing route right into the free safety's hands, Hawkins there of Woodinville.
So the Falcons trying to put together back-to-back scoring drives after getting the touchdown. The last time Caleb Hamilton had his hands on the ball, he was rumbling 66 yards for the score. This time he'll go to the air and completes it short to the tight end, or rather the wide receiver, Alec Kamarchik. Just kind of finding his way to the flat, but was met there by the Inglemoor defense right away.
Yeah, they've run that play 2 or 3 times already, and looks like Inglemoor has kind of sniffed it out this time. So Woodinville head coach Maxwell and their coaching staff is really trying to see if Inglemoor is keeping up on what they're doing here.
Nick Russell with the stop a moment ago, gain of just 1. 7:48 to go in the first half, 13-8, Woodinville leading Inglemoor. Split backs, and the handoff goes to one of them who's got some running room. This is Lira. He's got the sideline, and one man to beat. He's still on his feet inside the 40 in Inglemoor territory. What a run by Nico Lira.
Yeah, nice play call. Nice play call. You had the two right guard. You had the right guard, and looks like the center pulled back to the right side, and they really caught Inglemoor off guard there. When you have those guards playing like that, you really got to have your linebackers and D-line step up to kind of read that play and get through there and make some penetration. On that play, Woodinville did a better job than Inglemoor, obviously.
Well, we hadn't seen too much split back out of that shotgun set for Woodinville, but it worked well there. Lira still in there, doesn't get a breather after the long run. Trips to the right, and Hamilton to the airs. Got a man, it's complete, and still on his feet, finally down with it, the receiver for the Falcons in first down territory. And that one picked up by, I believe, Daniel Perez.
Yeah, just a nice simple play call. You got a slant by your flanker out there, and nice throw by Hamilton.
The tight end on the reception with that one. Here's another pass play for Hamilton. He's starting to find his groove as he gets this one near another first down. This one complete to Grayson Burris.
Yeah, and if you're at home kind of watching, comparing Fortune of Inglemoor and Hamilton here of Woodinville, look at the throwing motion of Hamilton. He looks nice and fluid with his throwing here, and whereas Fortune, he's a little, like I said, looked like he was settling down, but still kind of have some jitters, throwing some high passes. Not sure what's going on there, but Hamilton doing a really nice job here in regards to the quarterback battle between both teams.
Pair of receivers to either side, and the give to Lira, and he is met in the backfield and shoved back by a host of Vikings. A loss on the play on second and short. It's now going to bring up third and a bit more.
Yeah, and that was just great penetration by Inglemoor defense there, getting the backfield of Woodinville's.
Loss of 1, so 3rd and 2 coming up for the Falcons, who have this one just abutting the 20-yard line. So wonder if we've got enough leg for Connor Zabak to try a field goal if they get this one incomplete, but it will be a nullified play because of a penalty before the snap. And so another Woodinville Falcon penalty, it would appear. It will back them up 5, and so 3rd and 2 is going to look a little bit farther away. 3rd and 7 coming up. They had the 2nd and 1 just a moment ago. Lost a yard on the previous carry, and now the penalty. And they're really toying with a potential opportunity for a field goal try, as they've got to be at the outskirts of Zabak's range here.
Yeah, penalties really hurting Woodinville, right? Even though they're up on the score, you don't want late in the game, you don't want those kind of things to come back and haunt you.
Fortunately, with the spread offense, they have the ability here with, again, 2 receivers to either side. Hamilton sets up, is flushed, rolling, heaves it towards the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Alex Komarchik coming back, evading the defender and picking this one up for the score.
Yeah, that was a nice job there by Hamilton. You had nice pursuit there, but he was able to evade, scramble outside, and nice pass.
Great pickup on 3rd and 8, a 25-yard touchdown to Komarchik from Hamilton, and now the try for point, with Woodinville leading 19-8 with 5:18 to go in the half. The kick is up, and it is good. So Woodinville, now leading 20-8, have put together back-to-back touchdown drives, both on some interesting plays. A long touchdown run by Caleb Hamilton, then he goes to the air and finds a familiar friend in Alex Komarchik, who had the first touchdown pass to start this ball game.
Yeah, this is an interesting point in the ball game here. Second quarter, 5 minutes, 18 seconds here. You're down 20-8. Woodinville received the ball, so if you're Ingelmoor, you want to kind of control this clock here and at least get a field goal. Obviously, you want to get that 6 points on the board, but you got a chance to get the ball back after half. So this is a big drive here for Inglemoor.
And it is starting to rain. We've seen some drizzle, a rarity here in the Pacific Northwest Puget Sound area over the last month and a half. We finally saw some fog earlier this week in this region. It started to turn into a drizzle this morning, off and on, and now we're starting to see some of that precipitation fall here at Pop Keeney Stadium. So 5:18 to go in the second quarter. And Woodenville starting to exert their will here a bit, up 20-8. After they had the early lead, Ingelmoor reclaimed took the lead 8-7. But since then, it's been Woodenville with a couple of long touchdowns.
Yeah, and so far for Inglemoor, their Achilles heel has been giving up the big plays, 3 of them, and that's really cost them tonight so far.
Zabak with the kick deep, and it is fielded by the Vikings, and this time they'll get a good return once again as Nick Russell brings it out past the 20. Get it out to about the 24-yard line, and that's where the Vikings, as you mentioned, will need to put together some sort of an offensive drive here to help turn the tide and momentum a little bit away from the Falcons.
Yeah, we're almost close to halftime, and you've seen what number 8 for Inglemoor, Hans Fortune here, has been in the passing game. So if I'm Woodinville, I'm stacking that box. I'm going to make him beat me with his arm here going towards the half.
Well, Jake Jones has been a good runner. If it wasn't for the interception on the high throw from Fortune on the previous drive, they may have come away with some points. They'll go to Jones here, and like you said, Woodinville stacking the line, and Jones goes nowhere.
Yeah, that's the problem that Inglemoor is going to face here throughout the rest of this game is they know what your bread and butter is. They know what's been working, so they're going to make their adjustments defensively for Woodinville and really creep up, get those safeties up close. And, hey, if you're Fortune for Inglemoor, hey, make them pay.
Loss of a yard. And, again, if you're Ingelmoor, the pressure is on to perform a little bit here on this drive, get some points before you go into the locker room, but also key not to make those mistakes like the interception on the previous drive. But they have been moving the ball.
Right.
Out of the spread set this time. Fortune across his body, almost had it picked. Trying to set up the screen, it looked like. I'm not sure exactly where it was going, but there was good penetration by the Falcon defense.
Well, Fortune, he just doesn't look comfortable. I think that's the best word to use here. He's a big kid. He can definitely play. I just think he hasn't settled down, and he's really struggling so far. And if they can get him going, they can really change the outlook of their offense here instead of going to Jake Jones every play.
4:23 to go. Clock stopped after the incompletion. It's 3rd and 11. And Fortune on the rollout. The throw complete, short. They'll need to run a little bit to get the first down here, and they're not going to get theirs. Their Woodenville defense led by linebackers Parker Moore, Cole Bonvalet, and Trey Fornelius, as well as DBs Dane Hawkins, Wyatt Smith not in there right now, and Alec Kamarchik able to turn that one around before the first down could be gained. But a timeout taken here by the Woodinville Falcons. It'll be their first timeout. Inglemoor has also used one, and it gives us this opportunity to remind you that Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination. For high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Alex Webster along with Taj Bomar here at Pop Keeney Stadium, where the Woodinville Falcons have put together some scoring drives here on their last 2 possessions. They wanted to stop the clock here, keep some time available for them to try and put together their 3rd consecutive scoring drive. There's still a bundle of time there with 4:11. So, especially in that spread formation they run, that is a lot of time.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why Coach Maxwell of Woodinville took that time out there to go ahead and save as much time as possible.
Punt coming from Inglemoor's Willie Augustavo. And the snap is back. It is up. And back for Woodenville is Grayson Burris, and this one could be a live ball, and it might. No, they will say it was not touched by Burris, who did not, for the second time in this game, has gotten awfully close to a punted ball. He is not the regular return guy. Wyatt Smith, who was injured in the first quarter, and we have not seen back, unfortunately. We would love to see him back in this game, but Burris, for the second time on a punt, getting way too close.
Yeah, getting kind of close to the punch there. You're either going to catch it, fair catch it, or get out of the way and let it bounce. You don't want to have a turnover right there.
So the Falcons, despite that, will have it in adequate field position out at the 18. And the Falcons with touchdowns on their last 2 drives, trying to make it 3 in a row. Hamilton to the airs, got a man, it's complete. And he might go the distance to the 10, 5, and knocked out of bounds at the pylon. Is he in? They will say just short. Out at the 2-yard line. Nico Lira on the receiving end of that one, out of the backfield. A huge play on the catch and run.
Yeah, and as you mentioned there, that spread offense, they can air it out and score points in bunches. But it looked like the defensive back there, number 1, Lewis, he looked back too early, and receiver went right past him.
On the last drive, the defensive back for the Vikings didn't see the ball coming on a comebacker in the end zone for the score. Here, a breakdown in the defensive backfield again. A carry up the gut is just short at the 1-yard line. They were sending all of the action to the outside with the quarterback and the primary running back, Lira, going out that way, but it was the give up the middle that picks up minimal yardage. 2nd down and goal from the 1 with 3:20 to go in the half, and Woodinville would open up a commanding advantage should they punch it in here. They've got the power pack backfield, the give to Lira. He's in for the score. Touchdown, Woodinville.
Yeah, just got a nice power I formation there right off that left side, and only about a yard to go. Woodinville is good enough to go ahead and punch that in.
So a 26-8 lead for the visiting Falcons, with the extra point try coming up with 3:09 to go in this half. And the Ingelmoor fans, who were on their feet just a little while ago with an 8-7 lead, are a little befuddled. The kick is up, and it is good.
Yeah, Alex, this is one of the issues that Inglemoor has had, is trying to stop offenses. You know, they come into this game giving up 30 points a game, and Woodinville's knocking on that door. So that's been an issue for them all season. Well, in this early part of the season here. So that's something that's going to take some time to fix. But hopefully they can get this ball back here, get something going. It's not over.
Not by any stretch of the imagination,
but
yeah.
Woodinville's definitely has the upper hand here.
They have managed to, and Woodinville was struggling a little bit with their own offense with some high passes.
Penalties.
And penalties. They've managed to cut back on the penalties, and the last couple of passes from Hamilton have been big ones.
Right, and that's really what's beating Ingelmoor right now, is the big plays. Woodinville hasn't really put together a drive that's marched down the field, which, hey, if you don't have to, why do it? If you can put up points and put them up in big bunches really fast, that's obviously the key for success, and that's what Woodinville is doing here tonight thus far.
Well, it's been all Woodinville. 3 touchdowns here in this second quarter. Ingelmoor doing their damage in the opening frame. So here comes the Falcon kick team, all bunched together. Get the whistle and decide that they're going to spread it out. And Ingelmoor, in turn, will drop back into their typical return set. Connor Zabak will put a leg into this one. Nico Lira, or rather, Willie Augustavo. And this one is into the end zone. And Isaiah Lewis fielding that one. Off the leg of Connor Zabak. And it will be Inglemoor's ball at the 20. They still have some time and a couple of timeouts left to try and work their way back into this one.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see what Coach Nash comes out and does here on this drive.
They'll look to keep it on the ground. This is Jones, and he's got himself a first down on the carry. And you know what? If you break them off in 10-yard chunks like that, 11-yard chunks, you can get back into this one pretty quickly.
But I think for Woodinville, though, you might be okay given, obviously you don't want to give up 10-yard chunks like that, but considering you have a 27-8 lead, your offense is moving, you've been able to contain them defensively, Inglemoor's offense, you might be okay with giving up those kind of plays like that. And when you need to make big plays like they have tonight, go ahead and step up and do that.
Clock at 2:48 and counting down, and we've got an official timeout, as I think they're looking to reset the chain to some degree. And they'll reset the 25-second play clock as well, so Ingelmoor will have plenty of time to get this one off. 27-8, Falcons leading the Vikings. Another handoff in the middle to Jones. Check that. This time, Reese Duringer. And he gets a few. Second down and officially 8.
Yeah, and getting pretty close here to the 2-minute mark. And they got a second down. Maybe a screenplay to Jones here.
They're going to spread it out with 2 receivers to either side. Fortune finding his man for first down. That's Ken Holen on the reception and lays a shoulder into one of those Falcon defenders. Has the yardage, and they move the sticks and keep things moving offensively for the Vikings. As, again, once they get those sticks planted and restart the clock, there'll be 2:06 left in this half. And, again, get in for a score, get in for a touchdown, and you make it that much better going into the locker room.
Yeah, I think you got to kind of hurry it up here, kind of get a 2-minute offense going. You're getting kind of low on the clock.
And they've got 2 timeouts remaining. Trips to the right. Crossing pattern, and this one is caught, but not for major yardage. Reese Duringer, the reception. He'll pick up maybe 4, maybe 5, but that's not what they need right now. They need bigger chunks of yardage as we have 95 seconds left. They decide to take a timeout here. So, as you say, not moving with great alacrity right now. They need to move a bit faster. The ball into Falcon territory, but the second timeout taken by Ingelmoor. They have 1 left and 94 seconds to go.
Yeah, I believe that was number 6 for Woodinville. Will Jack, the defensive back, did a nice job of letting the receiver catch the ball, but wrapping them up right away, keeping them inbounds, making Ingelmoor use that timeout. That's a key tackle there. It might not look like it. They got to gain the 4, but very key tackle, making them use a timeout there.
Well, we talked about how conference action starting in the 4A Crest Division with Woodinville coming in with a 2-1 non-conference mark leading the way. And Redmond and Eastlake both with 1-2 records. Inglemoor and Bothell 0-3, but throw it out the window. This is the conference opener. And also tomorrow it will be Bothell and Eastlake battling in the other conference matchup right here at Pop Keeney tomorrow night. So this is when it all starts to matter for these teams.
Right, yeah, and that's a key game, that Bothell Eastlake, because everybody thinks Woodinville and Bothell are going to duke it out for the division lead here.
So out of the timeout, 2nd down and 6. Fortune now motioning a man, so trips to the left. He rolls out that way, trying to get rid of it. Long distance heave. He's got a man and he's got a defender. And the defender wins, but not the way he wanted to. As the man in coverage, Caleb Hamilton, who doubles as the quarterback for the Falcons, had it in and out of his hands. You want to say he's got good hands. He's the quarterback on the other side, but he's probably not receiving too many passes back there at that safety spot. Yeah,
but good coverage. In that situation with the minute 28, you just don't want to give the big play. If you're going to give a big play, make Ingelmoor earn it there. But not a bad throw by Fortune there. He put it up at the highest point, try to give his big receiver a chance to go up and get it there. Just not able to connect.
Falcons are fast and physical on the defensive line, and they have a good amount of experience in that defensive backfield. Fortune, though, trying to exploit the linebacking core, has this pass incomplete underneath. Had it thrown to Isaiah Lewis in traffic, and you're just glad that he was able to get up after that collision.
Yeah, now you got a 4th and 6. You can't risk the chance of turning it over here. giving Woodenville the ball back at midfield. So you got to go ahead and punt the ball here.
Augustavo to kick, and of course, Burris getting on the field late. In fact, we'll let this one bounce. It takes a sideways carom, and Ingelmoor right on top of it. It's inside the 20 with 1:18 to go, and Woodinville with 2 timeouts left. So what Ingelmoor couldn't do a moment ago, put together the 2-minute drill drive, that's what the Falcons are going to try to do here to try and tack on some more points here in this second quarter.
Yeah, and putting up points for Woodinville hasn't been a problem all night. So big defensive stand here if Ingelmoor can hold on and not give up any points the way Woodinville's offense has been rolling tonight.
Woodinville fortunate as Burris was running in from the sideline to try and field that one. It was actually probably the smartest play to just stay away from it, not risk anything. You're not in a jeopardized position. You've got your back nearly against the goal line. Try not to make something happen. Just let it play out. It's a punt after all.
Exactly, yeah. And like I said, it's 27-8, almost halftime here with 1:18. You just don't want to give Ingelmoor any momentum to get back in this ball game. You got the lead. Play it safe. No need to take a chance.
Yeah, and Ingelmoor using their last time out of the half right here. I think probably just wanting to go over defensive scheme and say, look, we've struggled with these guys this quarter offensively. We've given up big plays. Let's stay out of that here for the final 1:18.
Right. Yeah, and I think the obviously you don't want to play a prevent defense. Sometimes teams get burnt really bad just playing off too far. But the main thing you want to do here, if you're Ingelmoor, especially the Ingelmoor secondary, is keep the receiver in front of you. You can't let a guy get behind you. So they need to back up a little bit here. Lewis and Jones back here in the secondary, and just don't give it the big play.
Hamilton finding his stride in this big second quarter for the Falcons, trying to capitalize here with perhaps the final possession of the half. He'll keep it on the ground this time. Doesn't get nearly the yardage he had the last time he carried, and he comes out of that pile thrown back a bit. But he'll pop right back up. They'll work the clock down a bit. He had that big, long run for a touchdown the last time he had the carry. This time he loses a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like they had a option right there. But nice stop there by Gardner, number 47. And I think Woodinville's just kind of they're content with going into the half with a 27-8 lead in a rivalry game. I don't think he's trying to rub it in here. And you got a big lead, no need to rub it in either way.
42 seconds remaining in this opening half. Hamilton to the air. He's got a man for the first down and out of bounds, complete to John Villasenor. First time we've called his name on the receiving end of a pass tonight.
Yeah, but I guess at the same time, hey, if Ingelmoor can't stop you, what are you going to do? You got to run your offense.
Well, and that spread offense, very volatile.
Yeah, as I'm sure you kind of know about your big WSU alum with your buddy Leach up there, so spread offense.
Well, they haven't quite gotten it going there like they have here for Woodinville in this quarter. They'll see if they can get it done against Colorado at homecoming for WSU tomorrow. Another complete pass. Again, this time close to another first down, and they've got it on the move. 31 seconds remaining for Woodinville. They still got 2 timeouts. As they're approaching midfield, they do move the sticks.
That's okay. Again, Ingelmoor, keep the ball in front of you, keep the receiver in front of you.
Villasenor again on the completion there a moment ago. Hamilton looking across the middle, and this time I think the umpire got in the way of the intended receiver. He was looking for Grayson Burris right across the middle. And, sometimes that umpire will get right in the way. You know all about that playing linebacker for the University of Washington and for Kentwood in those state championship runs.
Yeah, you got to get those guys with the zebra stripes out of the way sometimes. But so actually they had a 12th defender there helping them out if you're Ingelmoor.
And Ingelmoor needing the help right now, down 27-8. 24 seconds remaining on second down and 10 coming up here from the Falcon 43. 2 receivers either side, man in motion, that's Burris. 3 receivers now to the bottom of the screen. Hamilton, little head fake. In traffic, gets rid of it. This one in and out of the hands of Burris and in between a trio of black shirts.
I tell you what, I wasn't a quarterback growing up or during my days playing ball, but that's one of the cardinal sins. If you're a quarterback rolling out, I'm pretty sure Coach Max is going to say, do not throw the ball back across your body into the middle of the field, right in the middle of the defense. And that almost resulted in a turnover.
How often do you see that pass picked off for touchdown the other way.
Oh, yeah, especially at the next level, college level. Guys are so fast and good at the reads that can go back for 6 really quick on you.
3rd and 10, 17 seconds now left, and now a whistle before the snap. And that would not bode well for Woodinville. Nope, it is a timeout, not a penalty. So Woodinville electing to use one of their remaining 2 timeouts. Here to talk things over. They must either did not have the right formation or the right set that they wanted. We're going to put somebody in jeopardy, or they're really, really interested in trying to pick up yardage to maybe give their field goal kicker a try here with 16 seconds now left.
That's my only guess. I mean, you could have just let the clock go there, going with the lead, but I think they obviously must be trying to put more points on the board.
Well, as a offensive-minded team with that spread offense, no doubt wanting to keep adding to the score. I know that they were at the wrong end of a big run-up score last week at the hands of Newport when Isaac Dotson took advantage of them for 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns in a 42-10 loss, their lone setback of the season against 2 victories over Lakes and Mariner. But right now, taking on regional rival and school district rival Inglemoor, they've got the big lead. Hamilton looking for more, flushed from the pocket, finds a man. It's Villaseñor out of bounds with 12 seconds remaining. It'll be 4th and short, however, at midfield or just about at midfield.
Yeah, Hamilton's done a nice job of evading being sacked, and when he scrambles, he goes to his right 9 times out of 10. So maybe if you're Inglemoor, you can kind of pick up on that second half, maybe scheme some things around that, bring some pressure right, and push him to that boundary and maybe get a turnover.
Is he going to learn a spin move at halftime?
Oh, yeah. You never played John Madden, NCAA? hit that B button. Poop. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Well, they're going to go for it on 4th down with 12 seconds remaining. Hamilton looking across the middle, and double coverage nearly picked off by the Vikings' Jake Jones, but it's as good, if not better, than an interception because they'll get the ball in Falcon territory with 7 seconds left. It'll be at the 49 of the Falcons, and that's where the Vikings will have to decide what they want to do. They're out of timeout, so perhaps a Hail Mary at this point, or do they believe enough in their kicker, Willie Gustavo, to see, can we get 15 yards here? Can we get a chunk of yardage in 7 seconds and get out of bounds and give you a shot?
Yeah, the way this game's been going, hey.
Hook and lateral?
Hey, something. Boise State, but I think you just go ahead and throw it deep here, see what happens. You might get a pass interference, get extra play.
Well, they got 4 receivers in the set, 3 to this side. They're going to heave it long, a little contact, and will they call the penalty on the contact? No, they'll call it incidental on that sideline as that ball falls incomplete well over the head of the receiver. They'll get another shot at it here, though, with 2 seconds, but if you get a pass interference call there, that picks up a chunk of yardage, and then another shot at it as well, too. But no call there from the official.
Yeah, the Inglemoor crowd didn't like that, looking for anything to get back in his ball. I think that was incidental contact there. The receiver and defender just getting their feet tangled up.
So 2 seconds remaining in the half. Look for the Hail Mary here. Fortune, with the horn sounding, has this one fall incomplete as good contact between the Vikings and the Falcons. But we do have a penalty flag down around the 37-yard line, and we'll see what they do. There was some contact during the play. In fact, it was the intended receiver that really became the defensive back, and now we've got some chippiness and some additional hankies on the field. Did we mention rivalry game?
Yeah, something like that, I think. Oh, yeah.
These guys will see each other at the restaurants in Crosstown.
You got three hankies out there.
Well, that is not the way you want to end a half. We'll have to sort all of this out, but we can say zeros on the clock. Woodinville 27, Inglemoor 8. But as the officiating crew, led by referee Bill Klatt, sort out what would at least be, I believe, 2 different fouls, if not more.
Right.
We'll have to wait and see what we've got here. And if it is against the Falcons during the possession, that could give Inglemoor another shot. Anything else probably won't. Personal foul on the Falcons and the unsportsmanlike conduct on the Vikings. It's all post-possession, so that is your half. The way we've had this game so far, a crazy way to end the half. We'll sort all those things out in a moment. But that's the end of the first half of play, with the Woodinville Falcons leading the Inglemoor Vikings 27-8. We'll be back in a few moments with the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Don't go anywhere. It's Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show, coming to you from Pop Keeney Stadium in Bothell, Washington. I'm Alex Webster, along with Taj Bomar, former Washington State champion with the Kentwood Conquerors. Our halftime score, Woodinville leading Ingelmoor 27-8. And it looked like from the very beginning of this one, it might have been Woodinville in a romp, because the opening play from the line of scrimmage was a 55-yard touchdown pass from Caleb Hamilton to Alec Komarchik, and it was on. But Woodinville stymied for a while. In fact, we're going in reverse because of some poor snapping, cost them a safety, some penalties, and some good running by Ingelmoor gave them a short field to work on. They get a safety and a touchdown, take the lead, but then the second quarter happened, and it was all Woodinville.
Right, yeah, like you said, fast start from Woodinville. Caught Ingelmoor off guard that first play. But it's been really interesting. I think this game has come down to big plays and penalties. And despite the penalties being, going against Woodinville, they've still been able to overcome those penalties with the big plays. Like you said, 2 big pass plays, a couple nice runs, whereas Ingelmoor, they just haven't been able to capitalize off of the penalties Woodinville has caused.
And in the background, you hear the tones of the Inglemoor High School Marching Band here at Pop Keeney Stadium. This is the site of a lot of action this week, as we talked about this being the start of the KingCo 4A conference slate. Tonight, Woodinville and Ingelmoor. Tomorrow, Eastlake and Bothell. But before that, because of the situation in the state of Washington, which we've seen as crazy as this first half has been for these two teams, it's been a crazy week here in the state of Washington with wildfires in central Washington, with a series of security threats at Skyline High School over on the plateau. We've had games moved all over because of either poor air quality, because of security reasons. It's just been a crazy week in the state of Washington, and you just hope that Friday night football and some Saturday night football throughout the Northwest helps to calm the nerves a little bit.
Oh, yeah, but you know what, Alex? I blame it on the weather. It gets sunny here. We can't handle it, but when it rains, we go bonkers. We can't handle ourselves, so I blame it on the weather.
Well, one of the things that we've got going on, Frank Nash, the longtime head coach of the Inglemoor Vikings, a Central Washington University grad, they're dealing with some of that poor health quality, air quality over there in Central Washington with the wildfires that are taking place over there. That Central Washington needed a place to come play their game. Well, they just called up an alum and said, hey, can we come over to your place? And they're going to do a little a small-town version of the battle in Seattle, that rivalry that Central used to have with Western. Of course, Western without a program. So Central is going to come over here, play Azusa Pacific for a 12:30 start at Pop Keeney. So this is just going to be the hub of activity. And here in a town like Bothell, that is a fantastic thing for these high schools between Woodinville, Bothell, Ingelmoor, and now to see a small college game right here in the middle of things. A fantastic opportunity for the stadium that was refurbished just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I think even furthermore, that's a great opportunity for the community. If you're a big fan of football, no matter if it's, the D1 level, high school level, Pop Warner, great opportunity to come to a great stadium in Pop Keeney. I remember when I was in high school, which, by the way, next year will be my 10-year reunion. Boy, am I getting old. But great renovation, like you said, on the stadium. So if you have a chance, come on out tomorrow. Check out the Central Wildcats, root those guys on. So great weekend of football here.
Yeah, and it'll be a little bit of a preview if you get a chance to come out and watch that game here between Eastlake and Bothell, as we'll have a contest between Eastlake and these Inglemoor Vikings out on the plateau at the home of the Wolves next weekend here on PlayOnSports.com. So right now, the Inglemoor Vikings in the locker room trying to figure out, hey, what do we need to do to get back into this contest?
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think for the most part, the jitters, both teams settling down, that's okay. So go ahead and call that a wash. But you got to generate some plays. You got to generate some scoring offense. You only got 8 points at the half, and 2 of those 8 points came from a Woodinville safety, muff snap there. So you got to find a way offensively to get other guys involved, or if you have to, hey, you got to find creative ways to get Jake Jones that ball on some screens, some more draw plays, and maybe, heck, split him out at receiver, see what he can do for you. But at the same time, you got to come out and get some stops on defense. If you keep letting Woodinville score at this rate, you're going to be in for a lot more points on the scoreboard here.
And the Woodinville Falcons trying to recover from their first defeat of the season at the hands of Newport last week. They seem to be doing a nice job of it. Took them a while to get going, but that third quarter, 3 touchdowns, and for them, sounds like more of the same is needed to continue out the remainder of this game.
Right, yeah, but I think the big key for Woodinville this season is how fast their guys have matured. From game 1 against Lakes up to now here versus Ingelmoor, because they've had a lot of, trials and tribulations, so to say, with some big key game situations and being able to fight through that adversity and come out on top with the 2-1 record so far. So I think that's the big key for Woodinville is they've matured and they're playing very well. And I think Ingelmoor, the injuries, not generating offense, that's really kind of bogged them down this season.
That's going to do it for the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Friday Night Football. We return in just a few minutes with the start of the second half with Woodinville leading Ingelmoor 27-8. We'll be back right here on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
You're watching PlayOnSports.com's presentation of Friday Night Football live from Bothell, Washington. I'm Alex Webster with Taj Bomar. The Woodinville Falcons leading the Inglemoor Vikings 27-8 as we get ready to start the second half of action. Both teams out onto the field, and for Ingelmoor, this is the opportunity for them to try and get back on track in this one right away.
Yeah, and the good thing is for them, they start the second half with the ball, so you get a chance to come out and respond and get yourself back in this ball game, which, like I said, the game's not over. You have to start with the first play, set the tone, and come out and make something happen. Then you got to go to work on defense.
You know, for Woodenville, this was a difficult game or a difficult week for them, I think, leading up to this game, knowing that they were ranked 8th in state last week going into a showdown against Newport. And they couldn't get out of their own way a bit as Newport just really put the screws to them, 42-10. But prior to that, they handled Lakes in an overtime showdown. That was awesome. And then handled Mariner. And then ran into that buzzsaw at Newport, which really kind of set them back. And you had to wonder how they were going to respond. And they've responded a little jittery in that first quarter. But the second quarter and perhaps the remainder of the game, they're hoping for good things.
Yeah, and I think that's a contribute to the young guys stepping up. And as most folks know, last year Coach Maxwell was Coach of the Year in this league. So give him credit along with his coaching staff and these young kids stepping up. And kind of, I think they're kind of following last year's legacy. If you were a senior or it doesn't matter if you're a senior or not, but, what kind of legacy do you want to leave year in and year out? And so far they're picking up right where they left off last year, and they're a threat to be contended with in the KingCo.
And for Ingelmoor, an opportunity to try and secure their first victory of the season after losses to Juanita and to Meadowdale by big counts last week. They got down to the wire with Tumwater, and unfortunately a long punt return with about 5 minutes to go ended up sealing the deal in that one down the way in Tumwater. First time that they'd faced those guys since the King Bowl in 1993 when they lost in the finals. So they're still trying to exact revenge for that. Couldn't do that last week. And so they got off to a start in this one that was a bit humbling after the opening touchdown for Woodenville on their very first play from scrimmage. But then they bounded back. They took advantage of the safety. They took advantage of some penalties and some short field to get a touchdown, take the lead. But somewhere along the way, the letdown either took place or Woodinville just really started to find their stride offensively.
Right, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think Woodinville found their stride offensively because they were beating themselves with some penalties early on, but they were able to overcome those penalties. But like you said, for Inglemoor, they just struggled from week one. They lost 23-7 to Juanita. You lose to Meadowdale 36-9. But don't forget, Meadowdale's a good team. They're undefeated. They're ranked in the state. And then you played a 2A team. Don't let that fool you either. They're number 10 in the state at their 2A level. And actually played those guys pretty close there. So I really thought coming into this game with the rivalry and whatnot between Woodenville that they would put together a better effort. But I think just right now, Woodenville has a little bit too much firepower, has that experience coming through, even though it's young experience. They're coming through for Coach Maxwell and Woodenville. So Woodenville just kind of has the upper hand right now, as they do in this series, 17 wins to 11 losses. So we'll see if Inglemoor can bounce back here in the second half, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
And the Falcons defending KingCo champs and semifinalist in state last year at the 4A classification. So you know that they know how to win. And for them, last week, a rare setback. This time they're bouncing back, and they've got a whole nother half to go, but they've got the pedal to the metal. And, of course, as we get set to start this second half, we have to remember that there were some penalty mark-offs at the end of the first half. A wild one for a first half with the way that we saw snaps going over people's heads. First and 44 and a touchdown scored on it.
Wow.
All kinds of craziness, and things got a little chippy at the end of the first half. And so a personal foul penalty against one team, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the other, so they'll march those off here, and then it will be the Falcons kicking off to the Inglemoor Vikings. And for the Vikings, a great opportunity to say, look, forget about the first half. Let's win the second half, and let's win it definitively and get the victory in this one, darn it.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. But, when you come out struggling, as you know, playing sports, that doubt kind of creeps into your mind if you're Inglemoor. Oh, we're 0-3, playing against Woodinville. But you know what? You can't let that overcome you here. You got to fight. And even if you're getting beat, never give up. So that's what I want to see out of Inglemoor here in the second half is keep showing that fight, not give up. And you never know. Something may happen here. Maybe Woodinville puts in their, second-string guys, and you get something going. You never know. Yep,
and right now you see the mark-off of the penalties, and I think they'll now mark the unsportsmanlike. They call the personal foul. They legitimately have to mark this off. This is a rule, so it's not for show. But they mark it off, and then appears they're going the wrong way, I think, because they called the foul on one team and then called it on the other team at the end of the half. Unless they've made an administrative error, this is a double penalty against the Inglemoor Vikings. If this is indeed the case, then this would be just adding to the wackiness that we've had this evening, as we would watch somebody kick off from the opposing 30-yard line. This would be a 40-yard field goal. So, again, it looks like administratively at the end of the first half when they were sorting things out, they had marked it one against one team, one against the other, and look for an onside kick try here, it looks like. Might as well. You've got it down here deep if you can get it. And a bobble of the ball, a scrum for it, and who knows? If you're Woodenville, not a bad piece of strategy. As they mark off both a personal foul and it will be Inglemoor ball as they unpile everybody and find that a black jersey has it. But they marked off both a personal foul and an unsportsmanlike penalty against the Inglemoor Vikings at the end of the half. So, that half that wouldn't end just kind of carries over for Inglemoor. Nonetheless, they'll end up with the ball at about the 16-yard line, 1st and 10, with 11:54 to go in the third quarter after the onside kick try. So here's Hans Fortune in at quarterback, as he has been the entire time, handing it off to Jones, who continues right where he left off with the hard running. He'll get some short yardage on a lot of hard running right there.
Yeah, that should have been a tackle for loss for Colton Sellens there, the left defensive end for Woodinville. But like I said, Jake Jones does a nice job of keeping his legs moving. Not a big back, but he always gives himself a fighting chance by keeping those legs turning.
5'9", 200-pounder. He's does a lot of his running between the tackles. He's had some good holes so far this evening. It's 2nd down and 9 after the short pickup. Fortune, the quarterback, with the short pass and the run afterwards, picking up a few more, as that one was complete to Eric Strathy, or rather Eric Strathy, the 6'5", 185-pound senior.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages Inglemoor has is the size outside, but the problem is you can't get the ball if you're a receiver, if your quarterback can't get it to you. That's been the problem they've had all night. Fortune's had a couple nice plays, but overall he's been pretty erratic on his accuracy.
3rd down and 6 for the Vikings on their initial drive of this second half. Fortune looking in the flat a little too low. He was trying to get it to Reese Duringer, and the junior running back in the flat or slot back could not get a second hand on it.
And again, just a low pass, putting a grounder out there for the receiver, that's no good there.
So Inglemoor will be forced to punt. Willie Augustavo, who's had way too many punts for his liking, he wants to be a busy guy kicking field goals and extra points, not back at punt. He handles both of those duties. He's back inside his own 10-yard line. As back deep is Grayson Burris to try and receive this kick. He fair catches it at the 46-yard line, so tremendous field position for the Falcons as they'll set up shop here with their first drive of this third quarter with 10:30 remaining and a 27-8 advantage.
Yeah, that was a good job there by Lee Wunderlich fielding that punt. They had a couple of issues with that in the first half, Woodinville did, with getting away from the ball or you're going to catch it or whatever you're going to do, but nice job by Lee there.
So the Falcons, who have been captained ably by Caleb Hamilton, who has a running touchdown and passing touchdown, a couple of passing touchdowns for him on the day, as he's put together a nice evening thus far. Out of the split back set, they now have two receivers on the left side. The handoff is to Nico Lira, who reverses his field in a shoestring tackle by the Vikings. 27, Jacob Cartwright, the junior linebacker, saving perhaps a first down and more.
Yeah, you got a lot of green field out there, and that's another play that Woodinville ran in the first half, and it went for big yardage, but this time Cartwright does a nice job of wrapping them up.
So 2nd down and 6 after the 4-yard gain. Could have been a big play for the Falcons. Here's the intended pass, and it's in and out of the hands and off the helmet of the defender. Could have been a pick six the other way had the defender been more aware, but that's always a tough one when it's in and out of the hands. You're looking at trying to get the play on the man making the catch at that point. You're not looking for the ball.
Well, you know what they say about the guys on defense. You know, that's why you're over there, because you can't catch. But
was that spoken from true experience there?
Hey, I'll leave that for your imagination. So, yeah, just a quick slant route and just weren't able to connect there. Could have been a turnover.
3rd and 6 now for the Falcons, as they were slow to get started throughout a good part of the first half despite an opening touchdown on the first drive. But here they connect for the first down and more as they finally get it up ahead to Drew Akamus. 185-pound receiver pulling that one down. And the Falcons with yet another first down tonight.
Yeah, and Inglemoor's playing off, about 5 yards in regards to their coverage, which, hey, the way Woodinville's been scoring, I don't blame Inglemoor for doing that.
1st and 10 from the 38. Woodinville trying to pad a 27-8 advantage. Handoff on the inside to Nico Lira, who stumbles and stays on his feet and falls forward to pick up about 5.
Yeah, Woodinville's really working that counterplay. This time, well, before they were going to the left with that, had some nice runs. This time, we try to bring it back to the right side, and actually, Lira there tried to cut it back left there.
And he gets a decent amount of yardage. They'll call it 4 on the pickup. 2nd down and 6 now. As the third quarter winds on here, now just 9 minutes to go in this third quarter. Split backs, and Hamilton wants to switch them up. Lira, the fake. Here's Hamilton on the right-handed rollout. Too high. No, it's not too high. It's secured by Grayson Burris on the catch for a first down. Nice grab as he pulls that one from the night sky.
Yeah, and pretty much it's what this game's kind of come down to. Kind of a high pass, but Woodinville's been able to make the plays. Ingelmoor, they haven't. But that's a staple play you've seen at the college level a lot. You play fake, you take a guy underneath there, get him out in the flat. Huskies, USC runs that play a lot. So nice play calling and way to execute, way to make a play.
Yeah, Burris and Lira, both the backs in the split set. They change it up here and have Alex Komarkic over on the left side. And this time the carry goes up, and Lira getting to about the 19-yard line.
Yeah, Hamilton and Lira getting a lot of the carries here, considering Wyatt Smith went out early in that first quarter, I believe it was. Not sure what the injury is, but hopefully he's okay. But, yeah, they've done a nice job picking up where he's left off.
Yeah, the Falcons without Wyatt Smith, one of their starting running backs, perhaps the better of the running backs that they go with to begin the game. He left the contest with some assistance in the first quarter, and they've done the damage on the scoreboard without him. Little handoff on the inside again. Lira dodging defenders, falls forward close to the first down marker. It'll be 3rd and short.
So, boy, and I tell you, with Woodinville's offense, you got to be really good with your eyes, reading your keys there. They bring in that fly sweep. Hand it off to the back. So got to read your keys. Good job by Ingelmoor there.
7:23 to go now in the third. The Falcons putting together a drive that started in pretty good field position after Ingelmoor was unable to do anything with their first possession. Caleb Hamilton, 5'10", 195-pound quarterback in his senior campaign, setting up the screen, and this one almost picked off. Nick Russell could not hang on, and he was going against the flow. He sniffed out that screenplay they were setting up and was headed the other direction, except he forgot one thing.
Yeah, you got to catch the ball. I think that would have been a pick six. I mean, he had his speed, his momentum going forward there. Just got to bring that one in. That's the kind of play you need if you're Inglemoor, to get the crowd back into it, get the momentum back on your side.
Woodenville to go for it on 4th and 1 here. 3 backs in the backfield, trying to get a jump from Inglemoor, and they may have gotten it. We'll see. They're going to call it against the Falcons, a false start. So they come out with the play on 4th and 1, trying to decide, hey, let's get them to jump, and they can't mind their P's and Q's.
Yeah, they were trying to get that penalty to be on Inglemoor and jump off sides, but their guys can hold their water, and they march back 5 yards. Look, if they're going to have to punt the ball. We'll see what they come out and do here, if they're going to go for a field goal or just outright go for it on 4th down.
Well, we'll see what they have set up. It looks like they'll go for a field goal try, as Grayson Burris will have the hold for Connor Zabak. And Zabak gets the kick. The spot, it is going to be wide right and short of the goal. So not sure if that 5 yards would have made a difference, because it still was angled to the right side. But nonetheless, the 5-yard penalty did not help things.
Yeah, lucky for Inglemoor, they got out of there with not giving up any points.
And perhaps an opportunity for momentum to swing to Inglemoor's favor at this point. They've got a little bit of work to do on that scoreboard, down 27-8, but with the rock here and a lot of time in this game, an opportunity to try and seize momentum. That's something that they did in the first quarter. After an opening score by Woodinville, Inglemoor was able to put together 8 points and take the lead, but it's been all Falcons since then. Hans Fortune has gone the distance in this one at quarterback. He's got Jake Jones there, but he'll opt to go to the sky, and he does, and it's complete and still on his feet and finally falling forward. Reese Duringer, who's starting to make a name for himself in this second half with yet another reception. He came on late in the first half as well, and that'll move the sticks, a first down for the Vikings, and that's what they needed to get going.
Yeah, first down, you pick up 10-plus yards. This time, Hans Fortune comes out, completes the pass, gets the chains moving, see if he can build off of that on this drive.
Out to the 33-yard line. Fortune with the completion to Duringer as they just try to work him into the flat a bit. 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Short pass, and it's in and out of the hands of Isaiah Lewis. They tried a similar play in the first half, and that led to an Isaiah Lewis collision and another incompletion. This time, it was just in and out of the hands.
Yeah, they were trying to get a quick hitter there to Lewis. He was uncovered. Woodinville is kind of in that 4-2-5 alignment, 4 D linemen, 2 backers, 5 defensive backs. They have some speed out there, but they were playing off, so they try to get a quick hitter, and they just haven't been able to make the plays tonight.
Got to hang on to those if you want to make a return on the scoreboard to a tie ball game or better. 6:25 to go in the third. This is 2nd down and 10. Fortune on the rollout. Tries to throw it underneath. The closest guy was a lineman. Fortune, for his favor, ends up on his back, hit by one of the defensive linemen in the process. But I think he lost the handle on that one because the closest receiver was a lineman, and I think the intended receiver was about 5 to 6, 7 yards down further.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. But it's really tough if you're offensive coordinator to really get something going when you just can't start getting anything going. So, 3rd and 10 here. I think you got to give Jake Jones get the ball in his hands here to make something happen.
Jones will go in motion. So 4 receivers to the left side of the offensive set, and this one is in and out of the hands again of Isaiah Lewis, and a tough night for that young man. The sophomore, 5'11", 167-pounders, is just having a hard time hanging on to that football, and the Vikings will need to punt.
Yeah, no matter if the ball has been too low, too high, just right on, they just haven't been able to catch the ball defensively or offensively, and right there had a great chance to keep the chains moving.
Here's the punt from Augustivo. And Burris back deep will let this one bounce. It takes a sideways roll and a little bit of a Viking roll. It'll be down at the 34-yard line, and that's where the Falcons will have it as we've reached just about the midway mark of this third quarter.
Yeah, I think if you're Woodinville, you don't have to do anything outside the box here, but keep that clock moving, keep pounding the rock on the ground, which you've been able to do very successfully tonight with those counter plays, fly sweep. So I think you go back to what you've been doing well tonight.
Well, Woodinville goes out of league to play a nearby team, Monroe, at home here at Pop Keeney next week. Not to be looking too far ahead, but that's what's next on the docket. Here is another snap over the head of the quarterback. Third time we've seen this tonight. The first time it led to an Ingelmoor safety. The second time it led to 1st and 44 after a penalty, and then the next play, they go 66 yards for a touchdown. So not what you want to see as you want to continue this season for the Falcons and compete to get right back where you were last year with a conference title and a deep trip into the playoffs.
Right, but we'll see if they can perfect the trifecta here. It hasn't really affected them all night, so we'll see if they can bounce back here.
2nd down and 28. And Hamilton barking the signals. He looks across the middle, has a man, and it is complete. But not for a tremendous amount of yardage. Drew Akamus coming down with that one, and that was a case of Woodinville making the play that Ingelmoor has struggled to make, and that is pulling down the pass and making the completion and gaining some yardage.
Yeah, I think if you're at home or just me and you watching this game here and everybody in the stands, you can just see Woodinville's making the plays, Ingelmoor's not. That's the same situation that Ingelmoor's had, but they just haven't been able to come down with the ball.
Big 3rd and 22 now. 2 receivers to the near side. Split backs. And here's a quick kick on its way. The left-footed boot from Caleb Hamilton is going to get a good Woodinville roll and will be down inside the 40-yard line. So the quick kick on 3rd down. Not sure exactly why the option on 3rd down, and perhaps maybe seeking a little bit of yardage, hoping to catch Ingelmoor in surprise mode. They caught us all in surprise mode with the quick kick here, but Ingelmoor will be happy to get the football regardless as they try to work their way back in this one.
Yeah, and I think Coach Maxwell feels pretty comfortable with this lead here, which is the result of that punt on 3rd down there.
Late defender coming in for Woodinville off the sideline, but he makes it there in time. Here's the handoff we were asking for to Jones, or rather, this time going to Ingelmoor's Nick Russell. And Russell with a score in this game early on, getting some decent yardage that time, as maybe an opportunity to get a little punch going on the ground with Russell and with Jake Jones.
Yeah, that's been their best success, is running the ball, but
or rather Nico Lira.
At the same time, just still not be able to generate any points.
Yep, Jones and Nick Russell. Russell, the 5'9", 165-pounder. He's in the eye there, and we're going to have a flag against Ingelmoor. I'm wondering if that one was a case of the center not having the count because several guys moved at the same time.
Yeah, it looks like a change at quarterback, too. Here, Alex, for Ingelmoor. Looks like Brandon Edwards, number 3.
And we have been talking about this one as Edwards and Fortune have split time. Edwards, a 6'1", 170-pounder, trying to get the offense going here where Hans Fortune has been limited in that capacity tonight. So Brandon Edwards seeing his first time here on this drive. Trips to the top of the screen, the delayed handoff. This is to Russell. He's into the secondary. He's breaking tackles, and he's into Woodinville territory with a 1st down.
Yeah, and I think maybe something you might want to try here if you're Ingelmoor to change the speed of the game is maybe go with a no huddle here. Maybe try to catch Woodinville off guard. Don't let them get their defensive play call in there. Keep it going.
Well, and Edwards here stepping in to the fold, trying to spark something. That's what head coach Frank Nash. He's the offensive coordinator and athletic director here in his 34th year at the helm of the Vikings. making the switch, and Edwards out of the shotgun. Gives to Russell again. Big hole. Another first down. And Russell driven down, and we've got a penalty flag as one of the players loses a helmet. It's one of the Falcons, Cole Bonvillet. And we'll see what the officials have. Referee Bill Klatt to let us know here in a moment. It looks like it will go against Woodenville as they're talking to the Falcons. But Bonvillet will have to come out for a play. That is the rule. And that's the reason for the big hole, the holding on the offensive line for the Inglemoor Vikings. So negate the big play. We'll go back the other direction, and Bonvillet will have to step out. That's the new rule this year, that when you lose your bonnet, you have to go to the sideline for one play unless it is penalty-induced.
Right, yeah, and you're kind of seeing that trickle down to all levels, NFL, college, down to the college level. Just trying to bring more awareness in regards to safety.
They'll mark it as 1st and 18 from the 48 of the Vikings. Edwards, little reverse direction play, a little counter play. And it looks like we might have another penalty. This time it might go against the Falcons, a face mask perhaps. Yeah. We haven't seen that play run by the Vikings. Isaiah Lewis on the counter. So while a modest pickup, they'll gain another 5 yards on the incidental face mask.
Yeah, you could really see Lewis's helmet get turned back there, so I knew that was a face mask right off the bat there.
Interesting play call on that counter, hoping that somebody wouldn't stay home, but the Falcons' defense was right there.
Right, yeah, exactly. You're exactly right.
2:40 to go in the third, and the Vikings now with 1st and 10 because they get the first down on the face mask penalty despite it being just a 5-yard penalty. So that helps to negate that holding penalty a moment ago. Here's Edwards looking to the skies. He's got a man. A jersey was pulled, and there's the flag.
Man, late flag, huh?
Eric Strafey was heading down that sideline. Just a slight jersey grab, but just enough. If we could see it here, the official could probably see it down there as Ian Biddle, the defensive back, step for step with him, was just falling behind a little bit, and it looked like there was a slight tug of the jersey. And that will be the call. So another first down on back-to-back penalties by the Falcons. We saw a rash of Falcon penalties in the first half. It helped lead the Vikings on a scoring drive and set the Falcons back a couple of times on offense. But here, they will just mark off the 15 yards from the previous spot. That'll push it down inside the 30-yard line, and that's where the Vikings will have it, 1st and 10, as they try to get back into this contest.
Yeah, and that's the key here if you're Ingelmoor. You got to make this drive count here. But if you kind of notice at home, Woodinville's put a couple different guys out there. I got number 17. I think I saw Biddle out there. So they're switching in some guys, getting these guys some experience too.
Motion man goes to the top of the screen. The handoff's in the middle to Jones. Some tough running as he picks up hard 5 yards inside the 25.
Yeah, you got number 6, Will Jack out there. You got Biddle, number 17. So, like I said, young team for Woodinville. So in a game like this, I mean, you're in control. Obviously, game's not over, but they're still playing tough defense for Woodinville, making Inglemoor earn and not giving up a big play. But you got to get your team some experience and get these guys in the ball game.
Jones been running well in this game. They'll see if they keep it on the ground in 2nd and 5. They do. And on the counter play, Jones runs into a couple of his own guys, falls forward. He's going to be a little bit short of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and 2.
It looks like that was a nice stop by number 22. The linebacker spot, Cole Bonvillet there.
So we'll see what the Vikings have in their bag of tricks for a 3rd and short yardage play. Under 90 seconds to play in the third. No scoring thus far in this period. As that halftime lead of 27-8 for Woodinville is standing up. Hamilton, the give to Jones, met right at the line of scrimmage and then pulls forward for the first down. Good contact in there by Cole Bonvillet. But Jones had a head of steam.
Yeah, he did. They had some nice penetration there at Woodinville, but like I said, Jake Jones, good solid back, kept his feet going forward, and he got those yards after contact. Good job by Jones.
1st and 10, now at the 18-yard line. 43 seconds to go here in the third. And the Vikings getting a reset of the shot, or rather the play clock, as I hearken into my basketball mode there. There's a play clock here. They get a reset as there was a player tying a shoe, and so they get the equipment reset, and now they're ready to go. Edwards trying to spark this Inglemoor offense. That's Isaiah in, and boy, in motion, receiving the pitch, lost the handle, and this one falls forward, and Isaiah Lewis popped on the play, is down injured with 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. That was a pop.
Yeah, he took a shot there. That's kind of a funky play there. The way Edwards tossed that ball out there, he didn't really toss it. He kind of threw it and pitched it out there to him, and you had a guy coming off the corner that couldn't quite see the number, but nice pop by the defense. But hopefully Lewis is okay here.
Yeah, hopefully both teams taking a knee during the injury timeout. It's an opportunity to remind you that PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here. And that was really a tough play. The first time we've seen that where they have the man in motion coming behind the running back, and Isaiah Lewis, the youngster, just a sophomore, getting hit back there, and you hope that he is doing okay. It looks like they're going to get him up off the ground, but the injury looks to be in the upper area as opposed to a knee, and he'll get a good round of applause and a standing ovation from the Inglemoor faithful.
Yeah, it looks like something with his wrist or forearm there. He took, like I said, looks like I think it was probably the defensive back there on the right side. Came in with a lot of steam there and just got him just right.
So they'll restart the clock here. I'm not sure if Ingelmoor will get a play off here before the quarter clock expires here. 3 seconds now remaining. They'll get set, and I think that'll do it. And it will for the third quarter as we get a goose egg on the board in the third quarter. Both teams' defense stiffening here in the third period. We will be back for fourth quarter action with Woodinville leading Inglemoor 27-8 here on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
Welcome back to Pop Keeney Stadium. Alex Webster along with Taj Bomar as we gear up for the fourth quarter between these regional rivals and school district rivals here in the North Shore School District. Woodinville with the advantage over Inglemoor 27-8 in a busy weekend of high school football throughout this state. This is the conference opener for both these two teams. Woodinville trying to reclaim the crown after a victory in the KingCo last year, as well as a deep run into the playoffs to the state semifinals, trying to replicate that and rebound from a loss at the hands of the Newport Knights last week, and they seem to be well on their way.
Yeah, they've been rolling all night. They've kind of pulled back the reins, in my opinion, here in the second half, just kind of keeping the ball on the ground, getting some other guys in there for some playing time. But Inglemoor, if they want to have any kind of chance, you got to punch it in right here.
Brandon Edwards trying to spark things, coming in out of the bullpen here in the quarterback role in the third quarter on this drive. Now into the fourth quarter with 2nd down and 7. Here's the handoff on the inside carry, and the Woodinville defense all over it. Nick Russell getting the ball that time, but minimal gain, and it'll be 3rd and 7.
Yeah, that's the problem they've had all night. They haven't been able to make the big plays in the passing game. You've had the running game going, but just haven't been able to get over that hump, and now you're stuck in a situation where you can't pass the ball. You got to try to keep it on the ground just to get something going, since that's the best thing you've had going tonight. But at this point, maybe you got to go outside the box and try something.
4-down territory here for the Vikings?
I think so. No doubt about it.
Edwards barking the signals with Russell behind him. He'll drop back. Quick 3-step drop looking across the middle in traffic, and it's incomplete, but a penalty flag near the line of scrimmage. That pass had danger written all over it as a couple of folks were crossing back there, and it seemed like there were more white jerseys than black ones.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Alex.
And the Vikings going to get bailed out here on the 3rd and 7 play as roughing the passer is the penalty against the Falcons. And, Woodinville's going to have to improve upon these penalties if they have hopes of repeating as KingCo champs.
Right, yeah, even though, they have some upcoming big games against a struggling Bothell 0-3. You got Skyline in there. Yeah, they're going to have to clean up this kind of stuff, which I'm pretty sure Coach Maxwell and his staff will. But when the stakes get raised a little bit higher, you put those poker chips in there, you're going to have to clean this up and get on the same page. Yeah,
they've got Monroe next week, and then it's Eastlake, Redmond, and Bothell. A steady diet of crest foes here in KingCo. So 1st and 10 after the mark-off. It's actually 1st and goal from the 8. Here's the handoff to Russell. He's into the 5, leaning forward, breaks the tackle for the touchdown.
Yeah, now we've seen a nice dosage of Russell at the halfback spot rather than Jones, and still down by 13. But hey, it's not over.
Still a ways to go. For Russell, his second rushing touchdown of the game. He had a 1-yard plunge in the first quarter. He gets an 8-yard run here to start the 4th quarter of play. And again, as you said, what action they take here, they're still going to be within 2 touchdowns regardless, and anything can happen in Friday night football.
Right, 11 minutes and 12 seconds to go, plenty of time.
Augustavo with the kick. This one is going to be just wide right. And Augustavo, a good kicker, is having some struggles here on that particular play. But it still, again, keeps it a 2-touchdown game at 27-14. Had that opportunity to try and eke a little bit closer, but not as vital as it is coming out and getting a good defensive stop going.
Yeah, that's still a little bit of a head-scratcher that he missed that kick there, Augustavo there. But, hey, like I said, you got 6 points on the board. I wouldn't be surprised to possibly see Ingelmoor come out here with a little trickery, maybe a little squib kick onside, but we'll see if Coach Nash feels confidence in his defense to keep the second half shutout going here.
Well, and a little bit of trickery. It would not be out of the realm of possibilities with the strangeness that we've seen in this ball game. Of course, after all that wackiness in the first half, we get a shutout in the 3rd quarter.
Right.
Well, let's see. They've already put 2 touchdowns on the board via the run. Who's to say that Ingelmoor can't put a run together here against the Falcons as this one has tightened up. Still a 2-possession game, however. A lot of time left on that clock, 11-12 to go. And Willie Augustavo looking over to the official to get the cue that it's ready to begin. And here comes the onside kick right out of there, and Woodinville dumping right on top of it. They were aware for it, and they had a sure-handed receiver right there on the front line.
Yeah, that's great special teams coaching there because couldn't quite see who recovered that, but that front guy, usually your coach always tells you, hey, you watch that ball until it goes over your head, and he did a great job of keeping his eye on the ball and getting on top of it really fast there.
Well, and here's the thing about that is it's just like that receiver going across the middle. You know you're going to get hit when you've got 11 guys in the other color jersey running right at you, and you've got to make that clutch play of holding on to that football.
Right.
And they did, to their credit. But nice, at least, strategy on the trickery. Here comes Woodinville on offense, and they're going to get a huge loss on the pass play, and then there's also a penalty flag back where the quarterback was. So we'll have to sort this out again.
Right, yeah, and that was a great read by Russell there coming up from his secondary spot, but looks like there's a personal foul of some sort here on Ingelmoor.
Well, we saw a roughing the passer that went against Woodinville, and now we're going to see one that goes against Ingelmoor. So a big 15-yard pickup. So the onside kick try, which comes up empty, then a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty. Not a good start to a situation here where the Vikings really just want to get the Falcons out 3-0 and get that ball back and try to make another surge on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and that penalty negates a very positive play for the Vikings defense.
Well, in essence, instead of a 5-yard loss, it will end up being, I believe, a 10-yard pickup based on the spot of the foul. So 1st and 10 from the 40 now with 11 minutes to play in this 2-touchdown ball game. Here's the fly sweep and another great defensive play by Inglemoor. Cam Miller on the stop, diving in and sniffing that one out all the way.
Yeah, good job there by all the guys up front there. Miller, Gardner, Bothell standing in their gaps, but Miller did a nice job of getting that penetration, wrapping up the ball carrier there.
Nico Lira could not find any running room there. Loss of 3. Another handoff to Lira in the middle, evades some tacklers, gets back what yardage was lost and a little bit more. It'll bring up 3rd and 8, maybe 3rd and 7. And for Woodenville, just keeping the clock moving.
Right, yeah, and if you're Inglemoor, you cannot give up a first down on this drive. Even though you got, over 10 minutes to go, but you want to get your offense back on the field as soon as possible and get that 3 and out, get off the field.
And they'll also look to use as much of the play clock as they can. Play clock now down to 7, 6, 5. So they'll have to hurry to get this play off on time. And they do, just in the nick of time. Good surge by the defense of the Inglemoor Vikings. And a huge sack as Jackson Gardner, big 6'4", 197-pound sophomore, makes the play.
Yeah, that was a really good job by Gardner there. Coming up against him again. Get through that offensive line of Woodinville.
Jackson Gardner, a huge game against Meadowdale earlier this season, showing some good third down action there, forcing the punt from Woodinville. And another high snap, but this time they're able to contain it and kick it for a fair catch by the Vikings inside the 15-yard line.
All right, Alex, let's see what we got going here. See what Coach Nash and the Vikings can brew up here.
Connor Zabak with a good punt despite that high snap, avoiding. Imagine if that one gets over his head and Inglemoor is able to recover. The scenario we have, still 9 minutes to go in this one, but they'll have the long field to go, will Inglemoor, at this point. And they'll bring out 4 receivers in the set, 3 to the near side. And remaining in the game, Brandon Edwards, who helped engineer that touchdown drive just a few moments ago. Here's the handoff to Jones, though, who's back in there, and he's got about 5 yards on the carry right up the middle.
Yeah, and again there, though, they spread him out, trips open formation, put him up the middle for about 5-6 yards. But again, you got to remember, the clock's your opponent here, too. You got to get that offense rolling.
Yep, and the flow not going well, and this may not be a good sign at all as one of the leaders on that offensive line. One of the better ones in the state, Titus Makosini, a 6'5", 265-pound lineman, is down at the 20-yard line for Inglemoor.
Yeah, he's a really good player for him up front. He was an all-league player last year for Inglemoor. So they really need him out there if they're going to make a run back here in this ball game.
Stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show where we'll select our player of the game as well as wrap up all the action from this contest. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. And, of course, we'll be coming at you again next Friday. Most of this broadcast crew will be just over yonder on the east side of Lake Washington as we head back to the Plateau area where Eastlake, one of the competitors here in the 4A Crest division with both Inglemoor and Woodinville. It'll actually be Inglemoor taking to the road, and it'll be an Inglemoor-Eastlake showdown next Friday night here on PlayOnSports.com. 8:59 remaining in this one, and Woodinville trying to hang on as Inglemoor trying to surge a little bit, but their bigger concern right now is for one of their captains. In fact, it is Titus Makosini who is being helped off of the field with something that looks to be a lower leg injury, and that a huge blow for the Inglemoor Vikings as He has been around here for a while, and he actually leads a big traditional haka dance before the start of the game for the Inglemoor fans to get them all fired up and the Inglemoor players to get them all going. So hopefully this is something he can recover from quickly and get back out there for Inglemoor soon.
Yeah, it looks like he can't put a ton of pressure on his left leg there. Maybe something with his ankle, it looks like.
And of course, defensively, maybe you send a blitz in that direction at the replacement that steps in at this stage with 2nd down and 5. We'll see what Edwards and the Vikings choose to do. Out of the shotgun, blitz is on. Here's the screen underneath, complete. And yards after catch are going to take them near the 1st down marker, but not quite there. Eric Strathy on the reception.
Yeah, good job completing the pass, getting some yardage there. It looks like they just switched out quarterbacks again. Edwards back in for Fortune there. So they've been kind of mixing it up here, trying to get something going.
So this is Edwards back in. We're going to have to keep a tight eye on that quarterback rotation out there. 8:18 to play. Vikings down by a couple of scores. 3rd and 1. Here's Jones. He's rumbling. He's got a 1st down and more, and out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. Mark it at the 44. Big run by Jones, and you can just start to sense momentum starting to swing a little bit here at Pop Keeney Stadium.
Yeah, Jake Jones and I believe it's Nick Russell. They've been doing a nice job of countering each other with some nice runs. That's, like I said, that's been the best formula for success for Inglemoor, is running the ball on the ground. Like I said, again, you got that clock as your enemy. If you're going to do that, I think you got to get it going with a 2-minute offense right now.
And the two-headed quarterback switcheroo again as Hans Fortune back in. And they'll send 4 receivers to the right side as Jones goes in motion. They'll swing it to him. Uncovered, but he can't hang on to it. Incomplete pass as that one just about a lateral, but it was a yard forward as opposed to a yard backward. 2nd down and long to go, and just as well that it was incomplete. If that ends up being a lateral, it's better that it's a forward pass.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, a lot of penalties in the games, but it seems as if Inglemoor has just as many drop passes as penalties in this ball game. Just beating themselves in this game tonight so far.
Clock stop with 8:05 remaining in the contest. Edwards back in at quarterback. He's under center here with trips to the right side. They hand off to Jones, and he's met with contact just as he gets through the line. Dropped after a short gain.
Yeah, try to run a quick little trap play up the middle there. Pull that left guard around and get Jones right up the middle. But good stop there. Way to sniff it out by Woodenville.
So a big 3rd down coming up here for Inglemoor, as they need to keep momentum going in this one. Still a bundle of time, but not a huge bundle. 7:37 and counting down. Inglemoor needing 2 scores in this one, trying to maintain this drive. A big 3rd and 8. Fortune back in. Has this one picked off. Here comes the Falcons. This is Will Jack, and he's got it deep into Viking territory. A critical miscue here deep in this ball game for Hans Fortune and the Vikings. His 2nd interception of the contest.
Yeah, Will Jack jacked that pass there. That was a nice job showing a little bit of his vertical right there, getting up and snagging that down.
Will Jack, 180-pound defensive back, making the snare of the contest. He had to go up to a pretty good leaping effort to pull that one down, and he did. And he started marching the other direction, and the Falcons here can put the final nail in the coffin. Here they've got it 1st and 10 at the 24. Hamilton looking for the big receiver, and he finds him. That is Drew Akamus, 185-pounder, and we've got yet another penalty flag near the original line of scrimmage. If it stands, Akamus picks up 9 on the completion from Hamilton. And right now, the officials, led by Bill Klatt, the referee, I think they would be the first to say they've had way too many conversations in this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this game kind of exemplifies a rivalry game. You know, you got some couple big hits in there and lots of penalties. Both teams getting chippy here and there. But I think the refs done a good job of trying to control the game here.
Well, it's going to be half the distance to the goal because they will tack on a personal foul penalty after the completion of that 9-yard catch and run by Akamas from Hamilton. So half the distance to the goal, and Woodinville can pretty much close the door with a score here. It's 1st and goal from the 7. 2 receivers either side. Caleb Hamilton looking left side. This one deflected. What a play out there defensively by one of the linebackers. And that was Jackson Gardner again, who had a huge sack earlier in this quarter. He comes up with a huge deflection here.
Yeah, there's your guy again, Gardner, making plays out there.
Gardner, just a sophomore. And as you can see, Ingelmoor playing, not afraid to play some of the younger guys.
Right.
And here's an encouraging sight. Titus Mocassini is strapping the helmet back on and could potentially head back out there for Ingelmoor if they can get the ball back. Caleb Hamilton on the keeper, but a penalty flag back near the line of scrimmage yet again.
I mean,
holding.
You know, there's been so many penalties, yellow handkerchiefs out there. You pretty much can build the yellow brick road right here at Pop Keeney Stadium.
Might be able to get one built to Woodinville right between the two schools here.
Yeah.
6:57 to go. They'll mark this one off. So a hold during the run. So instead of 2nd down and getting closer to the goal line, or rather 3rd down and a few yards, they're going to actually have 2nd down and goal from the 19-yard line. And Woodenville will stack it together out of a power I. Here's the pitch to the deep man. He's got it. Breaking some tackles near the goal line and into the end zone. Touchdown, Woodinville. Nico Lira with the score.
Yeah, like you said, just came out in a power I, won the point of attack, and Lira made a nice cut, put the burners on. 6 points, Woodinville.
Nico Lira with his 2nd touchdown run of the night. And Woodinville trying to complete the extra point try. Connor Zabak. This one is up, and it is good. 6:42 to go. Woodinville 34, Ingelmoor 14, and the comeback try for Ingelmoor in this one looked like it had legs there for a moment, but then some penalties by both sides, but a few more against Ingelmoor after the short try on the onside kick set up the short field for the Falcons. Kind of helped the Falcons get into a good run here to finish off the drive.
Like we said, that's been part of the difference as to why the score is 34-14 is Woodinville able to overcome those penalties and still make plays, still put points on the board. Like I said, they come into this game averaging about 26 or so points a game, and they're living up to that billing.
So 34-14 to go, and if you're Ingelmoor, you found a good mix of run and pass. You've been interchanging your quarterbacks as of late, and unfortunately, the pickoff, which set up that quick touchdown for the Falcons, came in an inopportune time as you were really starting to put a drive together. So credit the Falcons' defense and then credit the short field and their stick-to-itiveness despite the penalties to get that one in for the score. Here's the big kick back deep, fielded by the Vikings inside the 5. They'll have a return. This is Jones, who can't get back to the 20. So good coverage by the Falcons on an excellent kick. And yet another penalty. As Connor Zabak put a good leg into that one to drive Jones and company inside the 5. Then they covered it well, and now we got to unsort the mayhem.
Right, yeah, like I said, I've covered some high school sports along with you, Alex, but this is one of the games that, I tell you what, it's up there for the record in penalty. There's been a lot of penalties out here.
And this one will go against Ingelmoor, so not what they needed, trying to make a desperate attempt at coming back from 3 scores down with 6:37 to go. We've seen stranger things happen in high school football. but it is a tall hill to climb. So this one will be spotted at the 10-yard line after the penalty. And we'll see which quarterback the Vikings come out with. And it looks like it will be Brandon Edwards that will start off this drive, but be alert for a possible switch off. Edwards, fake pump, and he's going to get pulled down. He'll actually get credited for a yard or two on the run, but not what they were looking for. He thought he had a guy, and then he pulled it down.
Looks like that was Colton Sellens there, wrapping up Edwards, trying to scramble up the middle.
You're not going to have a whole lot of time because these guys are going to pin their ears back now because they know what you got to do.
Exactly, yeah. And if you're Woodinville, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Get some pressure on that O-line, make them protect. And like I said, Ingelmoor struggled passing, so light your hair on fire here.
6 minutes to go in this one. Edwards in with the give on the delay, and there's nothing there. Jones, I believe, fallen forward for a yard, maybe. And the clock continues to churn.
Yeah, good job there. Good penetration by Garrett Young, the second. Big guy in the middle, stuffing it up, getting off a block. Nice job.
And Titus Malcassini, who we saw earlier able to return back to the offensive line for the Vikings, now comes off the field. As he was injured earlier, was able to get back in there, but I think my discretion may be the better part of valor and live to play another day, injury-wise. The Inglemoor Vikings on 3rd and 8 have receivers bunched up. Not sure if that's where they wanted to be, and I think we're going to have a delay of game penalty as they were trying to direct players to where they should have been. And that's exactly what we had. They ran out of time.
Yeah, that was interesting formation. It looked like they wanted to be in a very familiar formation they've been in all night. Is trips open, 3 receivers to the left, but look like they had 2 guys on the line, so it looked like it could have been a penalty either way to me. But
yeah, they might have had a misaligned formation if they didn't run out of time, but either way, it's going to push them back a little bit. And instead of 3rd and 8, they've got 3rd and 13 from deep in their own territory with the clock now at 5:07 and trailing by 3 scores. Here's a tipped pass, and it'll fall incomplete. Fortune had returned back into the game to launch that one, Hans Fortune. Nonetheless, it is incomplete, and the kicker will come on, or the punter, rather. It is the same person, Willie Augustavo, who will punt from his own end zone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Edwards is trying to make a play there, but you had a guy open right in the flat, number 34, Max Vonderhoffen there. A sophomore, but he went for the bigger gain there.
Augustavo looking for Burris. Burris makes the catch. No fair catch. He's got some blockers in front of him, is able to nose up against the 30 before he's met there by a bunch of black jerseys. So a short field for Woodinville after about a 10-yard return by Grayson Burris. And Woodinville, who had a short field a little while ago, courtesy of an interception in return, is going to have the short field again here after the decent punt and adequate return. 4:52 remaining in this one. And the Falcons have the scoreboard and the clock on their side. Split backs in the backfield. The handoff to the far side of the field, and Woodinville's Mitchell Jones, 155-pound running back, gets the carry, I believe his first one of the night, as perhaps some guys on the Woodinville bench getting an opportunity to get some experience under the Friday night lights.
Yeah.
.445 as the clock continues to roll. Actually, the clock stopped as the player went out of bounds. Now it will pick back up with the snap, and again, another handoff in there to Mitchell Jones. And they're content to try and work the clock here. You start thinking about players of the game, and you have to start thinking about the guys on the Woodinville squad that have had a good day today, and there's actually been several of them, including the quarterback Caleb Hamilton, who's accounted for 3 of the 5 touchdowns, 2 through the air and 1 on the ground, as well as Nico Lira, who scored a couple from on the ground. Here's the handoff inside, and the ball carrier this time, Isla Bauer, 175-pound running back, goes nowhere. In fact, loses some yardage. And the Falcons do what they set out to do, run it 3 times and try to keep the clock moving.
Right.
It'll bring up 4th and 12. And I would say too short to punt and too long to kick. It's at the 34, check that 33-yard line. So in all probability, looking to go for it here. Three receivers out of split back set. The handoff again to Mitchell Jones, well short. And the turnover of possession will take place here with 3 of 18. And Ingelmoor will have it with another opportunity to do some work on that scoreboard. They'll bring in Hans Fortune at quarterback. Again, the 6'6", 200-pounder has been picked off twice in this one. And I think Ingelmoor wants to talk things over a little bit as head coach Frank Nash.
Yeah, I mean, this is where if you're
calls
Ingelmoor,
the timeout.
You're trying to play with some pride here, get some points on the board, hopefully.
And with the timeout, an opportunity to remind you that if you want to watch more of your school's great matchups, like the game you're enjoying here tonight, tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. For Woodenville, just trying to do some work with the clock on that last possession. Ingelmoor will see what they can do. I'd have to say that we've seen a pretty good night of action for several of the Woodinville Falcons. Nico Lira with a couple of touchdowns, and their quarterback Caleb Hamilton has done a number as well. And both those guys playing a bit on defense as well, too. Here come the Vikings with 3:18 to go. Hans Fortune out of the shotgun, giving to the back. On his way through, new guys in the game. And this time it is Jaden Petro, 5'11", 152-pound junior, for his first carry of the game. And with the clock running, now under 3 minutes, 2nd down and 4 to go for the Vikings. Fortune, another handoff. Again in the middle to Jaden Petro. He'll get the first down. And the clock stops briefly with 2:38 remaining.
Yeah, it looks like they're just
subbing liberally.
Right, yeah, get their guys some experience. Obviously, they're not really putting the ball in the air trying to pass. But this is valuable experience for these guys. Get in the varsity game Friday night. Prepare for the next game. You never know, we have to have somebody step up, and for the next year as well.
And Fortune continues to operate at quarterback now as Petro remains in as that back. They'll give it to the other guy this time, fresh into the game. That is John Mayusi. And Mayusi gains about 5 as the clock approaches the 2-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Woodenville well in control of this one over Inglemoor. For the Falcons, they will improve to 3-1 and will go to the top of the leaderboard in the 4A Crest division in the KingCo Conference with a 1-0 mark. Another run here on 2nd down, and no room for Mayusi that time.
He's stacked up right there at the line of scrimmage.
Do you think they're keying on the running backs right now, Woodinville?
I pretty much would say that's definitely the case.
Minute 28 to go. Reminder to stick around for our PlayOnSports.com post-game show. We'll select our player of the game, as well as wrap up all the action from this one. That's coming up in just a few moments here on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Ball at the 45-yard line. And the Falcons, as we mentioned, going to 3-1. The Vikings will fall to a rare 0-4 in another minute. Here's the handoff. And again, Jaden Petro finds the sled and tough. And for Ingelmoor, they have not been 0-4 since 1994. And, you know, for you and I, we go back and think about what we were doing in 1994. It's been a while. And, of course, the Vikings have never started a season 0-4 under Frank Nash. And haven't been 0-4 since 1969. Yeah. 30 seconds to go in this one. And on 4th and 6, the punting team on. Augustavo puts a big leg into this one. Back deep is Mitchell Jones this time. He's going to let it bounce and roll. And it will get inside the 10-yard line. What a great boot by Augustavo. And it comes with 6 seconds remaining in the contest.
Yeah, that was a nice kick there. Got a nice roll. Nice bounce down to about the 8-yard line there.
So the only thing left to do for Woodenville is to come on out into victory formation, take a knee, and except for a bump last week against Newport, you're looking at a pretty good start to your 2012 season.
Right, yeah, a few things to clean up, as we noticed, the penalties, things of that nature. But overall, they have a young, talented team for Coach Maxwell. So sky's the limit for these guys.
Woodinville late getting some guys onto the field. This is where some of those varsity letters are earned. You get participation in there, and so they get some guys in. Actually, it was the center this time, and they'll run out of a shotgun here with 6 seconds left to go, and it is to take the knee, and the clock will wind down, and that will do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stay tuned on PlayOnSports.com for our post-game coverage. We'll wrap up all the action in our post-game show coming up in just a few moments. Once again, the final score in this one, Woodinville defeating Inglemoor 34-14 on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Post-game show is next.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. We're working on getting an interview with our player of the game, Caleb Hamilton. Fantastic night for Caleb at quarterback for the Woodinville Vikings. He scores 2 touchdowns via the air and 1 on the ground. I think the ground one might be one that's more impressive than the ones through the air. He's 17 of 25, 257 yards, 68% completion percentage. He had 5 carries for 52 yards, but none more impressive. And, of course, some of those were sacks in this one, so that will take away some of the yardage, but he had himself a 66-yard touchdown run back in the second quarter on 1st and 44 after some penalties and a sack, and so we're excited to be able to talk to Caleb Hamilton about what that experience was if we get a chance to do that. But a fantastic game for Woodinville as they get back on the winning side of things, and Caleb Hamilton, Nico Lira, a couple of guys that helped carry the load.
Yeah, I think a really impressive performance in the sense that they were able to overcome a lot of penalties, still put up 34 points, still come out with a big win, first KingCo game in your conference. But the interesting thing is, even with those penalties, they said they won in a 20-point fashion. But if they clean those penalties up, they could be even better. So that's the impressive part that I'm taking away from Woodinville, and that their young guys are stepping up. Lost a lot of guys last year, made a nice run in the playoffs. But this team's a good team, and Coach Maxwell, he'll clean up those penalties, and I think they're going to be a team to watch out for here late in the season.
Well, it's a tough situation because here's a team that has a tough road to try and match up with, because last year's team got to the state semifinals and were among the contenders throughout the state, and that's tough billing to live up to. And so far they've gotten off to about as good a start as you could hope for. And we're looking forward to having Caleb Hamilton join us here in just a moment as he works his way up to the broadcast booth, working through the crowd here at venerable Pop Keeney Stadium, home of the Bothell Cougars, the Inglemoor Vikings, and, of course, the victors tonight, the Woodinville Falcons. And in just a moment, we'll get some headsets on the young man, and we'll get him up here for a great conversation in just a moment. But Caleb Hamilton with 3 touchdowns accounted for. And here is our player of the game, Caleb Hamilton. First off, congratulations on the victory. Nice to get back on the winning track after the loss to Newport last week. This one, a big one, as it gets you guys off on the right foot in the conference.
Yep, it was a huge one for us. I mean, we practiced hard all week, and it paid off in the game.
Well, I was going to say your stats tonight, excellent, a couple of touchdowns passing. The one running, though, is the one I've got to ask you about. You get into a 1st and 44 situation. Tell us a little bit about how that run came together, because 66 yards later, you're talking touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Badley, I got to give him all the credit. Same with my linemen. I mean, Nico came across, and we got the D end kicked in and wide open down the sideline. And
you had some good help out there. Nico Lira carrying the load, one of your guys going down, and unfortunately, hopefully we'll get the chance to see him back, but Wyatt Smith going down, that had to infuse some confidence in you guys to do a good job while he was absent from the lineup.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, both running backs are a huge part of our offense, and, I mean, we can put anybody in there, and they're going to perform. We just played for Wyatt this time.
Well, congratulations on the victory. Way to get off on the right foot in conference play, and best of luck next week against Monroe.
Thank you, sir.
Caleb Hamilton, our player of the game. We thank him for taking time and coming up from the field here and fighting through the crowd. He had to come up through the Inglemoor side of things here to be interviewed here as our player of the game. Don't go anywhere. The PlayOnSports.com postgame show continues in just a few moments on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
Welcome back to Bothell, Washington, and the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. I'm Alex Webster along Taj Bomar, and we just saw the Woodinville Falcons take out the Inglemoor Vikings 34-14. And what a stand-up gentleman that just came up here, Caleb Hamilton, to talk to us about this victory. And, of course, his Woodinville Falcons now back on track and right back where they figured they would be at the start of the season, right at the top of the KingCo Conference Crest Division.
Yeah, and like I said, good-looking kid, and Caleb Hamilton made some plays out there. He was the Week 1 player of the week, so he's accustomed to making big plays for this team and being the captain, stepping up, making big plays. So this was right down his alley.
You know, one play we didn't talk to him about was the very first play of the game from scrimmage, a 55-yard touchdown pass that caught the Inglemoor Vikings napping. It gave them the early lead, but the other thing we didn't talk to him about was some of those high snaps he was having to contend with there, because those high snaps led Inglemoor to some of their points in the first quarter as they got a safety on a high snap and then got a short field and were able to convert for a touchdown and take a short 8-7 lead. but then Woodenville took charge behind Caleb Hamilton, that 66-yard touchdown run on 1st and 44. I know I keep saying 1st and 44, but how often do you see it? And then a 25-yard touchdown pass to Alex Komarczyk, second touchdown of the ball game. Nico Lira with a 1-yard run, and it was a 27-8 affair at halftime. Third quarter, empty in the scorebook, but then in the fourth, the two teams swap a couple of touchdowns. Nick Russell with an 8-yard run, Nico Lira with a 15-yard score for Woodinville. It brings us to the final score of 34-14. So, take that second quarter out, and we've got ourselves a ball game.
Right, yeah. They try to step up and make some plays happen in the second half. Inglemoor did to try to get back in this ball game. And like I said, they held Woodinville scoreless in that third quarter. But like I said, Inglemoor just beat themselves tonight, not catching passes, missing a couple of interceptions. Really only able to rely on the rushing attack that they had with Jones, number 5, in the backfield, and Russell. But overall, they just didn't have the firepower to withstand the surge that the Woodinville Falcons were soaring with here tonight.
Yeah, Woodinville now 3-1, 1-0 in KingCo for a Crest Division action. They will actually step out of league next week and host Monroe before the dash to pay dirt, when they have 3 consecutive Crest Division games against Eastlake and Redmond, and on the road at those two schools before hosting Bothell here in a huge game at Pop Keeney Stadium.
Right.
Meanwhile, for Ingelmoor, the road has been a difficult one so far this year. They're now 0-4 on the season. It's kind of getting to a historic point. Woodinville now 18-11 all-time against Ingelmoor. But for the Vikings, they now have to cross over the King County area over to the Plateau area and take on the Eastlake Wolves, a game that you'll be able to catch here on PlayOnSports.com next week. And then after that, they've got Redmond and then Bothell here before they have a non-league tilt in the middle of October. Where does the road start to wind in their favor?
Right, and I was going to say that's my next point here, as you're kind of alluding to. It's really tough. The high school season is really short. You already got 4 games under your belt. Rough start, you're 0-4. Then you got some more tough conference games coming up. The best you can do is finish at 500 at 4-4. And in this tough division, in the KingCo, that's just not going to cut it. But, they can learn from this. Even in defeat, you can learn something. And hopefully they keep their heads up, keep working hard. And I'm pretty sure Coach Nash will have these guys, back at work on Monday, getting ready for that next opponent and try to get their first win of the season.
Well, that's going to wrap it up from Pop Keeney Stadium, where the Woodinville Falcons defeat the Inglemoor Vikings by a final score of 34-14. We'd like to thank you for joining PlayOnSports.com's coverage of Friday Night Football from Bothell, Washington. Be sure to check PlayOnSports.com for information and links to all our upcoming broadcasts. For our producer, Rylan Spencer, our videographer, Martin Stoves, production assistant, Brian Hayes, and my partner, Taj Bomar, I'm Alex Webster saying so long, and we hope you'll join us next Friday night on your destination for high school sports and Friday Night Football, PlayOnSports.com. Good night, everybody.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.